Yeah. What do you got against chinchillas?
The same thing I got against armadillos.
What's that? They got against armadillos. What they do to you?
Because them little sumbitches are only half shells.
So that's what turtles are.
No, they're whole shells.
This is true.
Alright guys, he's live, so...
Okay.
I saw it.
That makes sense.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Backstage with Psych podcast part 2 of the first WWE 2K20 podcast for the year. Where, as if you were here before, you guys know what we talked about. If you weren't, then we'll kind of address you what we talked about on part 1 so you can go look at it and all that. And welcome back, Nightmare. But,
hello.
Pretty much what happened is some immature, says he's 18-year-old, but his maturity is not at 18, decided he wanted to try to boot people offline.
Whoops, wrong move.
To say it would be in his best interest if he doesn't do that again.
He was probably looking for me.
Oh, he said he was, but you know,
It's his fault.
amateur level was definitely rookie. Because he got everybody but you.
And also me, so he missed me by a long shot.
But what we were talking about in this podcast is the details that have been released by 2K20. And what we've already talked about is no, don't go too far. What we already talked about is the mixed match challenge that has been announced that will be returning. We also talked about women's My Career confirmed, and we were getting to the showcase that they announced before the immatureness appeared. But so if you guys want to go hear what we talked about in the mixed match challenge and what we think about the women's co-op appears to be happening, go look at part 1, because this is part 2 where hopefully this is the last part. Hopefully. But at this part, ladies and gentlemen, they have announced that this year's showcase mode will be about the 4 horsewomen of WWE and NXT, which is Bayley, the one and only, huh?
Well, I don't like that name. I don't like that. Let me rephrase that.
Bayley.
I don't like what she means.
Bayley, the one and only Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte Flair is the 4 horsewomen of NXT and WWE.
You know, that just doesn't flow off the tongue as well as the 4 horsemen do, but you know.
It doesn't.
It somewhat does.
It's supposed to be the 4 horsewomen of WWE.
Well, I know, but
Well, there were multiple horsewomen anyway, so let's just get that out of there right now.
What's up, Mobman? How is it going? But yeah, pretty much, I'm going to give a second for everybody to join back in that was here before I start this back up. Especially since I got a comment on my last video by the immature. Asking if he's still on the router. Just not going to answer that right now.
he said he stopped it.
But yeah, okay. So, for everybody who does not know about the 4 horsewomen and the showcase mode is, I guess, from what Xavier Woods explained, is kind of like an off-brand career mode for WWE, where you get to relive, pretty much the showcase mode is where you get to relive the actual events of stuff that happened. Well, last year we had the Yes Movement showcase where you got to relive everything Daniel Bryan did from when he was, I think it was like the indie scenes and getting into WWE and everything he accomplished in WWE before he had to retire and all of that. And that's pretty much what the showcase was last year. And this year you get to see, seems like it'll be kind of quite a big a longer showcase because it's not focusing on one person this year. It's focusing on 4 women this year, and all 4 of these women has had one hell of an NXT career and has had one hell of a main roster career. Some would say the NXT career was better than the main roster. Some would say the main roster is better than the NXT. But, you know, that's a he said, she said type of situation right there. But, I can say I'm kind of excited for this because, like I said, you get to relive what they went through. And you get to kind of feel the aspects of how they felt going through it in a way. Because you kind of get to play it. And so, how does everybody feel about this being this year's showcase?
I think it'll be pretty interesting.
Fuck Bailey for one. Okay, wait, what? I'm confused.
I think it'll be interesting due to the fact that a lot of people that don't watch wrestling or the WWE series, if they've just came into it and they go, well, okay, let's play this. It gives them a chance
to experience that.
And yeah, it gives them a chance to actually experience the events and kind of sort of participate, if you will.
Yeah,
with the showcase, it gives them the option to do, what they want to do, to see what outcome would be different.
Yeah.
Also, I can hear howling in the background.
It's all good. What's up, Sin Cara? Welcome to the stream. Long time no see.
Oh no, there goes the neighborhood.
Right?
I haven't
But
heard
yeah.
that name in a while.
So does anybody else have an opinion? Mr. Vito?
I mean, it's kind of hard to say because I don't believe it should be focused around just 4 females. I would be okay if it would have been more. Example. Say like a little bit of Wonder Blaze.
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe China or Trish Stratus or Lita.
Yeah.
Kind of move through the years, but to just jump into
old school.
Oh, look at me! I'm Ric Flair's daughter. I came out of the vagina wrestler.
Nobody gives a shit. Just be honest.
Or I'm gonna hug you to death. Or I'm the boss. I'm related to Snoop Dogg.
I get the shotgun.
And then you got the Irish Glass Kicker, and that's the only one I would care to play as.
Yeah, definitely. I could definitely see what you're saying. See, but like.
So I mean, I think it's a good thing, but I really wish they would have.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have just stuck it to one aspect of this woman evolution that's been happening for almost 30 years.
Yeah, well, see,
but they're just
that's what I wish they focused
year.
on. Yeah, well, last couple, but see, that's what I wish they focused on. Like, I understand, like, I like the movement that they're doing with this, and I understand why they're doing this. Because, like, I said this like a few months ago before we even knew anything, that I feel like 2K20 is gonna be based on like the women's evolution. Like, they might add women's career. There's gonna be. I even said there's gonna be a woman. It's going to be, for the first time ever, a chick on the cover of WWE 2K. And I pretty much said that this game is pretty much going to be based on the women's evolution. What's up, Broken Gaming Network? What's up, Twitchy? And all of that.
And the neighborhood just got worse.
Right? And that is kind of what we're seeing with 2K20. It is about the women's evolution, to an extent. It's not, like... They're painting you a picture of the women's evolution, but they're not giving you the women's evolution.
They're not showing you the whole thing.
AKA the co-op women's career, which forces you, like we talked about earlier, of having a guy be your backbone of your career for the women. Like, if they, like I said, I'm hoping that that's just a little snippet career. And all that, like, I'm hoping that if anyone wants to suggest Twitchy to the party, if he wants to come in here, because I think this would be interesting for him to be a part of this, especially since he runs a women's federation inside of wrestling. I feel like this would be a big thing that he should be a part of. That's if he wants to.
Understood.
Oh yeah, we could definitely play it. Not right now while the podcast is going on, of course. But what I feel like is like I'm hoping like that career mode that we've seen
heads up.
will not just be that a co-op male and female career. I really hope like you could choose male, female, or male co-op with female, because just the way they're making it seem like they're pretty much biting their women's evolution in the ass. Like I feel like because they're still trying to make you see and pretty much show you like, yes, women's able to do this stuff, but not without a male there. Pretty much it's kind of like what I feel like is what they're showing. And as a male, I feel like that's wrong. Like they like we'll talk about the whole cover situation. The whole cover situation, we'll talk about that later, because like that really bit like when I heard the first part I got excited, but when I heard the second part of it, I kind of like makes me wonder. Like the only reason why would get 20 right now is because of the women's evolution type of aspect that they're bringing, like the mixed match challenge back, the 4 horsewomen showcase, the half-ass females career mode and all that. Okay, sounds good to me, Sankara. You know what I mean? Like, if, like, and that's what I kind of wish, like, it wasn't a 4 horsemen's showcase. I wish, because of the whole... What's up, Twitchy? Welcome to the podcast. But with the whole, it's supposed to be a women's evolution style game, I wish they would have gave you the women's evolution showcase, to where you actually got to live and kind of experiment and experience a little bit of each female's part in the women's evolution that it is today, going all the way back from WCW and WWF all the way to where we are now, and it's playing a little portion of each female's career and their big impact on the women's evolution, instead of basing it on 4 women, like you said. One of them.
Yeah, I agree with that, because here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thing, they want to talk about the women's evolution, but
they don't want to give it to you.
4 horsewomen now.
Yeah.
What about Shayna Baszler? What about Asuka? What about Kairi Singh? You know.
What about Lita, Trish Stratus? China. Exactly.
Me high fine yo.
And just a lot of the older women, like Alundra Blaze, that played a fact. Mae Young. What about Mae Young's impact into
that's the point I was
WWE?
trying to make, though. Psych was. You look back. This evolution is older than we are.
Yeah, and they're making it seem like. They're
It's
making
a
it
4 or
seem like.
5 year thing.
Yeah, and it all started with NXT women. And see, Lita and all that is trying to show, hey, we were here too, you know, like Lita, Trish Stratus, Tori Wilson,
That's why Mickey
and all of
James
them.
came back.
And Mickey James, they're all making their face noticed to be like, hey, yes, these 4 women is a big impact now. But what about us back in the day when we were fighting for this, and this is what we were fighting for, and this wasn't the opportunities we were given when we were shown as we're just fragile people, and we're not superstars, we're diva, we're not superstars, we're eye candy, you know?
Because here's my thing. If they really, because I understand that they're focusing the showcase on Bayley, Becky, Sasha, and Charlotte. I understand it.
Yeah.
But, they could have, especially now that they are acknowledging China.
Yeah.
And that Jeff Jarrett's more than likely going to be in the game now because he's a Hall of Famer.
I think he might be the pre-order.
I got speculations on that.
And they kind of
We'll get to
already confirmed though. They kind of already confirmed who was going to be pre-order bonus. Well, not necessarily though, but they did confirm though that we're going to be getting, that we're going to be getting China, Rock, Mankind, all of
Yeah,
them.
we're not talking. We're not there yet.
And-
That's another thing. We're doing this in
Okay.
bulletin points, and this is just the bulletin point we're at right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, but here's my thing. There's some things about that should have been added on there, but I think because the fact that they're putting Becky Lynch on the cover,
Not there yet either.
And then,
I made
We're
the
not
mistake
there
earlier.
yet, Twitch. Stop jumping the gun, man.
I made a mistake
well,
earlier.
Well, I'm not sure where you guys are at per se.
We're at all what we
was
talked about so far is the mixed match returning, and the women's co-op career mode, and then the 4 horsewomen. That's all that we've talked about so far. And those other things are bulletin points coming up soon.
Welcome back,
I thought
Sinclair.
you guys were just. I
See,
thought
he's
this
not
was
jumping the
general
gun. He's
discussion.
pole vaulting the freaking rock with a shovel. What the hell you mean?
What was that, Twitchy?
I thought this was just general discussion. I thought that this
Yeah,
was
no,
just
it
general
is.
discussion
But
itself.
we're doing it in bulletin points. That way, we're able to fully talk about a subject before. You know what I mean?
Well, then continue. Though.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that.
We'll definitely let you talk about that as we get there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But does anybody else have their opinion and what they would like to address on the situation with the 4 horsewomen showcase?
Honestly, no.
Not really.
Okay, let's move on over to the next subject, which, if I'm not mistaken, is a little bit of what Twitchy already talked about, and it's the first. It's not really a pre-order. It's more of if you buy the collector's or get the deluxe edition on what you're gonna receive, and that is Mr. Hulkamania himself. And the reason why I broke each one of these superstars that you're gonna get if you buy the deluxe and all that into pieces, and I'm starting with Hulk Hogan first, because of the whole big ban that Hulk Hogan had on him for years, to where even if you wore any Hulk Hogan gear to a WWE event, you were pretty much, you were kicked out. And if they noticed it after you went in, but if they noticed at the gate, they refused your entry even if you had a ticket to the show. And that's pretty much what this is going to be talked about right here is, how does everybody feel with all the struggles that Hulk Hogan went through because of something he said 20 years ago or 10, 15 years ago, however long it was, and all the struggles he went through, and then he's now finally allowed back into not only this WWE, but he's now being re-entered into the game. What is everybody's opinion on this?
Actions have
Honestly,
consequences.
Yeah, actions do have consequences, but
Yes.
honestly, in regards to him being put back into the game, I really don't care because I'm not going to be using him at all.
Yeah.
It's not really going to affect me. But, well, then my brother's already said that once he gets the game, though, he's going to be beating the shit out of Hogan every chance he gets. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I could care less.
That's all I can really say on my end. Because my brother will be beating the shit out of him, but that's about it.
I mean, I really can't say much because you're right. Actions do have consequences to the point of, like, I get why they banned him in the first place. But I do want to point out, not even 3 weeks ago before the Raw reunion, he was on a beach with his new girlfriend and his daughter and some dude, and he beat the hell out of a guy for looking at his daughter.
That.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I hear about that.
I did. He's back.
now, do I believe that he should be persecuted for
Assault?
beating up somebody? No, because honestly, if I had that hot of a daughter, I would have done the same fucking thing. Okay?
Somebody would have got their
20
ass
to life
kicked.
is a thing, alright?
Yeah.
You gonna whoop that ass.
But it would have been worth it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
See,
But
my
at
whole
the same time,
yeah.
you know, what he said, yeah, the action should have consequences. But at the same time, they waited almost 10 to 15 years to even let him step foot back in the WWE.
No. They waited 10, 15 years to
correct.
prosecute.
Well, yeah, but okay.
He was only out for like 3 years. If like 3 to 4
5.
years.
He hasn't
Was
been
it
back
5?
any-
But-
no,
but-
actually 5
Yeah, it was
because
5. Yeah, it was 5.
2K15 was his last game.
Okay.
But at the same present point, if he said something 10 to 15 years ago, why is the system waiting to trying to wait to prosecute now?
Yeah.
Because this
well, I know
is
the system itself is slow, but with as
the
much
system
of
is slow.
as a reputation as he has, I mean, you figure with him doing what he done, okay, so going back to what Vito said, and I'll pass it to somebody else, where he beat the hell out of a guy for looking at his daughter the wrong way. Okay, it takes 10 to 15 years to prosecute for something that he said, but it takes 20 minutes for somebody to slap handcuffs on somebody for an assault charge.
Mm-hmm.
Why in the actual, pardon my French, but why in the actual shitstorm does it take 15 years to come up with evidence on what somebody said, but it takes 20 minutes on somebody's physical actions?
Because you want to know the reason why? No, because you want to know the reason why? It didn't come out until
5 years ago.
5 years ago. It didn't come out until 5 years ago. It wasn't leaked. Yeah, it wasn't revealed that he said these things 5 years ago. Now, I guarantee you this, though. If they would have found out about this some 10, 15 years ago, trust me, Hulk Hogan would have never gotten into... Okay, what's that?
Transformer hum.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, I'm hearing... It's not me.
There it goes.
Yeah, because everybody...
It's gone
Yeah,
again.
but anyway, though, as I was saying, though, what I was saying was that had this stuff had come out like 15 years ago, I guarantee you this, though, that Hogan would have never seen Hall of Fame.
Yeah, well, see,
and his reputation as a whole from 15 years ago. You see, because the thing about it is this, though. See, the thing about it is this, though. Times have changed, though, a lot in the past. Then that's like, a lot of stuff has changed in the past 15 years, though. If you get labeled as a racist today, you get like...
It sticks with you. It sticks with you.
Yeah, it sticks with you for like ever.
There's no recovering, you're done.
15 years ago, if he would have gotten caught saying that, chances are Hulk Hogan would have been like, oh, okay, Vince would have been like, okay, slap on the wrist. But now it's like Hulk Hogan was revealed saying racist stuff. That shit, no, there are going to be some people like I give you a prime example. Xavier Woods to this very day, though, does not like Hulk Hogan because of what he said.
See, but even...
You know.
Like, people Hogan has wrestled with in the past that were African American. And I'm going to throw this out there. Booker T has went on record saying he don't believe Hulk Hogan is racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just something that came out.
Yeah.
Mark Henry has came out and said the same thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it. Everybody's opinion is different. But, I mean, two established people like that. I don't care if they're white, black, Mexican. I don't give two shits. I hate everybody equally, and I let everybody know that from the word go. Everybody has a chance to change my opinion about them.
Yeah, like, also, my whole big thing is also, like, I feel like, yes, they, like, what he did was wrong, but I feel like with how old the thing was, they kind of overreacted because of how old it is. Like, like I feel like if they would have done that when it first came out, I would have been definitely 100% like agreed with WWE and all that because it just came out. But it's so old and people's views change.
I've changed
from time to time, and that Hulk Hogan that used that N-word views could be completely different from his views when it leaked and he got banned and all that, you know.
And the thing about Hogan even said in an interview though that I'm not a racist, you know.
Yeah, it's like the N-word is there and people use it to a T and all that, but it doesn't mean that you're racist if you use it.
I use it.
Because
that's the only one I hate.
Yeah, we gotta think about though, like the N-word. It has like a bad message to it, and anybody who uses it kind of like has a bad reputation. But you gotta look at it like this: what was the context of him using the N-word and all that? Because the N-word has a whole different meaning than people look at it. Like it means something, you know, like the definition of the word.
What?
It's like that's the diet nigger. What am I? Hey, brother, that's diet nigger. Nah, that's a joke. That's something I seen the other day.
But I do gotta say, I am kind of glad though, like because of Hulk Hogan's reputation and all that, that he is finally allowed back. And like I personally, I don't know if I'll use Hulk Hogan, but I might have like a Hulk Hogan based character on IPCW and stuff like that. Like my own version of Hulk Hogan's character and all that. You know what I mean?
Basically, it's just USA, man. That's what he's trying to get at, guys.
He'll be more of a Hulk Hogan next year.
We haven't seen him in a while. Bring him
But does
back.
anybody else have anything to say about Hulk Hogan?
I could talk about this whole Hulk Hogan ordeal for a minute. I really could.
Yeah.
Same here.
Because, I mean, I like to hear everybody else's opinion on things. And
That's why I broke this up into a different piece to where Hulk Hogan kind of had his... Each one of them had their own little section, but Hulk Hogan was the first one we talked about because how much of a touchy subject it is talking about it, and how surprised I am that he's allowed back in so soon. Because not only did they allow him in WWE, but they allowed him to announce the Tampa WrestleMania and announce a couple other things, and they're letting Hulk Hogan like come back fully, and now they're putting him into a game. I figured like it would be a lot slower of a process. Like they wouldn't have had Hulk Hogan announce the Tampa WrestleMania. They wouldn't put him in the game so soon, and they wouldn't have him show up as much as he does. I feel like they would have just eased him in. Like they would have made him come up on Raw, and you would have seen him. Kind of like what they did with Mick Foley and Kurt Angle. Like they eased him into you. It seems like the punching Hulk Hogan into your face right now.
The thing about it is though, Magnum, here's the thing. 3 years ago, honestly, would anybody here in currently this party chat 3 years ago would have expected to see China get inducted into the Hall of Fame 3 years ago? No, scratch that. 5 years ago.
He has a point.
That's true.
Back on this Hulk Hogan subject, though, I mean, I kind of saw it happen the second Mean Gene passed away, and God rest Mean Gene Okerlund. But I mean, the second Mean Gene passed away, it's like Hulk Hogan's slate was clean, because without Mean Gene, there was no Hulk Hogan. I'm gonna throw that out there. Hulk only had hulking up, a fucking big boot and a leg drop. He's the original blueprint for fucking Brock Lesnar. Okay?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Like,
we all know this.
He's the original blueprint for Brock Lesnar and Goldberg and John Cena, okay? You guys go back that far. But, oh, and I forgot, he pressed people a lot, but that's when we're there. And body slammed Andre the Giant.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, the way I look at it is people fuck up, people slip up. I mean, and like someone brought up, Vince said it. So, I mean, my thing is how could Vince said it on air. So how could he really prosecute the way he did, especially as long ago as it was, after the fact? Hulk Hogan using the same word Vince did. Vince did it on live TV.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I remember that.
It's like to me that's kind of like a double standard because I mean because you're the boss man, you're allowed to use it.
Right.
And
It's not like
no
Vince needed a
consequences.
scapegoat as per usual with everything he does.
Yeah, that's also another thing is like is why like
That's his
They wanted
business,
somebody
so
to
he
blame.
can get away with it.
like how did people like people took so big of an offense of Hulk Hogan saying it, but when Vince said it, everybody like pretty much shrugged it off. Like why is that? Because it's still the same word. It's still the same word. Like why didn't people boycott WWE? You know?
That's the exact same word. Vince being he's big boss man, they weren't gonna ban him from any shows. They weren't gonna do anything like that. But
That's because it's his business, so they feel that he can do
Well,
what he
hold
wants.
on.
That's kind of the
I have a
persona
complete
of it.
different argument to that exact question.
But it's still the
You know
same
why
word.
Vince didn't get in trouble? You want to know why Vince McMahon didn't get in trouble?
Why?
Here is why. It's not because he's a big boss man. And the reason why people didn't boycott WWE is what the fuck else did we have? TNA, which was dying by the point this happened.
Yeah.
This is true.
Okay.
That's also another good point is if
ROH,
Vince would have said it today with AEW out there, would he get away with it?
No, hell
Fuck
no.
no, because you know what? I'm the first one to tell you because I guarantee it'll be in this somewhere.
Yeah.
I can't particularly say my thoughts about a certain thing happening and this being the first game solely made by 2K. But is that a bulletin point? Can I come back to this?
What? What's the
fact
subject
that
of the bullet point?
Yuke's not being part of 2K anymore.
That's not a bulletin point, so there's no having to come back. You could speak to it now, about it now.
Okay, so my thoughts.
Especially since I brought up
You know
that kind of
why?
subject.
Right, you guys opened the AEW door, and I'm going to be the first
Yeah.
one to jump.
And it
All
goes
right,
with
so
the
here's
subject
my-
we're speaking, so, in a way.
Here's my thought process. All right, Ukes is out of the process of publishing and developing the WWE franchise.
I heard
Now,
about that earlier.
A few months ago, Ukes released We Want to release an old school wrestling game. More on the lines of,
Here comes the pain.
Here Comes the Pain and blah blah shit like that. Now they don't have to worry about, oh, we're WWE, we're PG, and we can't do all that fun shit no more. They
Yeah.
can go over here to AEW and make a game.
And many
Now-
people, even wrestlers are showing that right now that WWE is not the big hunt show anymore. Because look at it. Dean Ambrose, Sean Spears, you can now call
Who's
him.
the Ambrose you speak of? I don't know who John Moxley is.
John Mox, okay. Mr. Sean Spears and everybody else who's leaving WWE that's been able to leave so far, they're jumping over to AEW. If you don't take care of your talent, they have elsewhere, and they're willing to go. Look at Chris Jericho, for instance. He's been in WWE for years. He's been one of the top dogs in WWE for years. And Chris Jericho said himself that joining AEW is his biggest paying contract he has ever received, even from WWE.
And the thing
Which
about
means
it,
he's
though,
been
is,
in WWE for years, and he got shit on.
and the
Yeah.
thing about it is with
Did he
Jericho
call the
is
Money in
just,
the Bank
and-
concept too?
yes, he did.
Look
And
how
the
they
thing
treated
about
him.
Jericho, and then the thing about Jericho is like,
What's up, Nubby? What's up,
came
Ultimate
out,
Game?
cut that- he came out and cut that promo and was like, Chris Jericho career coming to an end. The fact that he's calling it quits in a Fed that's not WWE, that it's like the biggest slap in the face that
Yeah.
Jericho's giving to Vince though, because he's tired of Vince and his fucking bullshit.
Yeah, well, because everybody knows Vince's shit is bullshit, but they only put up it for so long. Because, like Vito said, where did they really have to go? Like, yes, they had TNA, they had ROH, and they had New Japan, but the money wasn't with them like it is with WWE. Like, yes, it's nice they can go there and all that, but the money was with WWE, so WWE always drawed them back with that. But now with AEW out there that also has the money like WWE, now WWE is getting put into a corner of, do they want to step their game up? Do they want to give their talent what the talent wants? Or they want to watch all the talent leave? Because the talent's not afraid to leave. There's so many of the main roster talent right now trying to get off of WWE's contract to go to AEW, but WWE won't let them.
Well, I'm going to throw this out there. Okay, so everybody has pretty well known the club, or Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah.
Contracts were coming to an end. I think they were up in at the end of August or end of September, somewhere in this 2-month span here.
And if I'm not mistaken, that they've been seen in other venues recently too.
Before they re-signed this contract, because they did end up re-signing with WWE for more money. And in that contract, that's why now we have the original club.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't be back with AJ. And that was put into the contract. And I hate to tell everybody, but I'm going to blow your minds a minute. Finn Balor is supposed to be joining the original club.
Yeah.
Okay?
I heard about that.
Honestly, here's the thing about Finn Balor. Finn Balor, though, he went to Vince personally and requested that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It'd be good for him anyway.
I was going to go to that.
He wants to turn heel.
Actually touch on
He wants to turn heel.
Speaking of that, because I was at Finn Balor's goodbye show to NXT, and when he was leaving NXT to go over to main roster, after the cameras cut off and went off air, Finn Balor came back out and pretty much did this big message and all that, saying goodbye to the crowd, and the crowd chanted club or Bullet Club or something, and Finn Balor smirked, and pretty much he smirked, gave this look, and threw up the club sign, and then walked away, pretty much letting the crowd know he's going to main roster to go with the club. But when he got to main roster, they threw him into a different route, which pretty much showed that they didn't give Finn Balor what he wanted, and they pretty much told Finn Balor one story, and then when he got there, gave him a different.
Well, again,
are you truly surprised? Are you truly surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. Look at the main roster now. Everybody from NXT that joins the main roster, they dominate NXT. They have opportunities to dominate main roster. They get the main roster.
Decided to go back down.
They get the main roster, and boom, they're shitted on.
There's talk about Fandango after he gets back from his injury, going back to NXT.
Went back down there too.
If I'm not mistaken, Fandango, Fandango and Tyler Breeze just had a match on NXT.
Yeah.
My bad.
Again,
I've been working a lot, guys, so I am not caught up.
Yeah.
I am not.
Well, see, I don't watch wrestling anymore, but any of the big things that pops up, I do. No, I wouldn't say I won't watch wrestling anymore. I don't watch WWE anymore. I haven't watched WWE in a year. I haven't watched a pay-per-view in a year. I canceled my WWE network, and I'm full on waiting for AEW to go live on AM.
You know what, Magnum? It's funny you say that, because honestly, the only thing that I know around WWE now is when I watch the highlights, because as for me, though, I'm also waiting for AEW to kick off. But right now, though, I've been watching the G1 Climax for New Japan.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Well, fucking Mox is doing amazing in fucking.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't say that.
He lost his last 2 matches though, but he been on point.
But
he's the United States champion over there, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To bring back the whole topic of 2K and all that, and the Hulk Hogan situation, here's another good point that I don't know who that is, what subscriber that is. He must have changed his name recently, or a new subscriber, because I haven't seen the name before, but he goes by on
Ultimate
YouTube,
Games.
Swing Mob 929, and he said, also, what about when Kurt Angle had said some racist shit, too, on live TV, talking about, this is from Kurt Angle's mouth is what he's saying, not his. But truth be told, I'm not a fan of black people. And that is what Kurt Angle said live on TV. Where was Kurt Angle's repercussion and all that?
When did Angle say that?
Yeah, when did he say that?
Yeah, I don't remember him.
I don't know, but he brought it up. I don't know if it's true or false, but if it is true,
that seems
drop
like
a
some
link.
false...
Find a link and drop that in the chat, because
because
that's got my interest. That's got my interest. I'm curious about that.
And again, if it was on live TV and he had a microphone in front of him, guess what? It was scripted, and I hate to tell you, it happens.
And here's another thing. Here's another thing I also want to buy. Here's another thing I also want to buy. What we said earlier is the reason why Vince didn't get any actions towards him when he said the N-word is because it was his business that he said it in. If you think about it, Hulk Hogan, when he said it,
somewhere else,
he said it
thrown the hell out.
in I wouldn't say private. He said it in kind of, I think, like on a beach, but at the same time, he was dealing with his personal business at the same time. Is the way I look at it. So I feel like if Vince won't get in trouble because he's saying it on live TV on a business, then kind of Hulk Hogan, if he would have said it like in an interview, then that's one thing. But he was dealing with his family and personal situations. You know what I mean?
Wasn't that about the time his wife?
What's up, Bear?
He found his wife screwing that dude.
It was. I think it was his daughter. I think he said to his daughter's boyfriend.
His
daughter was dating a colored person, and he wasn't happy with the relationship. He didn't okay the relationship, and he
wasn't accepting of it. Yeah,
he wasn't accepting of it, and he let his feelings be known. One day they went to the beach and completely straight up looked at him and called him the N-word.
Yeah,
that would have caused me to punch him in his face if that was me. I'm just putting that out there now.
Yeah, but I hate to tell you, Hulk Hogan's probably bigger than half the people in this party and probably could have snapped you in half.
Sin Cara said that the Kurt Angle situation wasn't a lie. Sin Cara said he just found a link. And I'm gonna make Sin Cara a moderator real quick in the channel, that way he can drop the link. No, you should be mod, Sin Cara.
I'm not gonna sit here and say, people were wrong. I'm just saying that I don't remember the instance. But again, if it was
that's the thing, though.
Camera,
that's the thing, though. With it happening, everybody
probably a promo
watched it and shrugged it off like it was nothing. When a promo like that, even if it was a promo, it was still said, and it was still something racist, and it was still something that shouldn't have been said, to where it kind of why it still brings up the fact when Hulk Hogan says it, everybody hates him, but other people say it's no problem, promo or not, it was still said.
Because you want to know the reason why, though? Because most of the people that drop the N-word, though, aren't as big as Hogan is, though, in his...
Yeah,
I feel like, though, Vince McMahon, Kurt Angle, those are two pretty big names, me personally.
But, okay, hold on. I'll agree with the Vince McMahon part.
I'm not talking about the wrestling side. Here's the thing. I'm not talking about the wrestling side. I'm just talking about in general.
Yeah.
Not just wrestling. I'm talking about in general.
Yeah.
In general, Hulk Hogan is still
it don't
one
make
of
it
the
right.
big... You're right. I'm not defending that. But Hulk Hogan's you can walk to a person who don't know anything about wrestling and mention Hulk Hogan and they know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You mention Vince McMahon, they're going to be like, Kurt Angle's the only thing they're going to know is he won the Olympic with a broken freaking neck.
And that's why I feel like Kurt Angle is as big as the name is. Kurt Angle, a lot of people, if they don't know Kurt Angle for wrestling, Olympics is a big thing in America. Everybody, I feel like, watches the Olympics in some way or form. That they should at least know of Kurt Angle for that aspect,
The Olympics coming back next year.
No, I did not push it, Sin Cara.
Okay. So I did go look at this link, okay? This link is also, like, from 20 years ago.
Yeah, but what Hogan said
I know what Hogan said.
But
again, okay, I am going to point out, though, he did not say the N-word in that. He just...
Yeah, but it has... I feel like even if he did not say the N-word, it has the same meaning of saying I don't like black people. I feel like is the same as saying the N-word,
yes,
but a PG way of saying it. But it still should have the same meaning.
But, I mean...
It's still offensive either way.
It can be offensive,
that's what I'm saying.
Here's the thing. Here is the thing about this, guys, is it's...
Okay, Bear.
When it comes down to it, I think a lot of people didn't really say anything when Kurt Angle did it, just because it was on WWE television. They knew it was scripted, whereas when Hulk Hogan did it, it wasn't. It was straight up real life, out in public.
Yeah,
so,
I see that.
Not only that, it's a...
Because a script does not necessarily express a person's, like, true views on how they feel about something.
I can see that.
Whereas if you say it, like, off camera, no script, no nothing, it's completely unscripted.
Yeah, but...
could take that as, that's how you really feel.
Here's the way I look at it, though. If I go on 2K19 and I do IPCW, and I do a promo on that, and it says the N-word or talks about not liking black people or whatever, or Mexicans, whatever.
You're gonna see everybody mostly leave.
Exactly.
Me and you are gonna immediately stop being friends the moment you even do that.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So why? If it's a television promo, it's okay.
Okay, so here's the thing, though.
That will happen eventually.
That point in time, okay, it wasn't a big thing because, okay, I'm going to sit here and use this as an example. That'd be like me walking up with a microphone in front of my face and saying, I don't like somebody, right? Yeah. I'm very outspoken about how I feel towards everything. I don't like people.
Twitch.
I am not a people person.
Oh yeah, I think we're all not really people persons. We just put up with each other.
I'm not. I never have been.
And I'm not a people person. In that same aspect, he didn't come out and say the N-word. He literally read what he was told to read off of a piece of paper.
Yeah.
You can't discriminate, you can't use Kurt Angle as an example because it wasn't him. It was the writing staff at that point in time. It was Bruce Pritchard, Paul Heyman. It was whoever else was. I know those two were definitely in back when that video was taken.
Of course.
Yeah, but still.
That was before Angle left in 2004 or 2007 or whatever. He went to TNA there for like 10 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it don't matter. I mean, what my point is you can't hold Kurt Angle accountable for what was said because he read what was on a piece of paper.
Yeah, but with that, even like, I understand that, but still, the whole thing is, if it wasn't Kurt Angle, why wasn't WWE or somebody in WWE hold responsible for that? Because the meaning of the promo...
Paul Heyman, the writer probably of that promo, did get an ass kicked by Vince McMahon. And he got sent down to OVW for it.
But let's move on to the next superstar. I feel like because we can talk about this all night, and I feel like we can come back. We can come back to this subject later, but I feel like let's at least stay on because this is a 2K20 podcast. So let's go back to that topic and talk about what people are here for. But
yeah.
And the next one is China.
Knee high five.
Oh man, I can talk about this all night. I'm just gonna make this.
I'm with you. We're on a good subject now.
I'm gonna make this real
let's
short.
go to a good.
China is back in a wrestling game for the first time in like
Since SmackDown 2.
Since SmackDown 2.
Which this is good. I'm excited for this.
Excuse me, SmackDown just bring it.
Yeah, she also just bring it. Okay, yeah, she also just bring it.
She wasn't just bring it. She wasn't just bring it. The last game.
Hold on to the interwebs.
But
because that was WrestleMania 17 and they still didn't put it in the game.
But in regards to China, the fact that she's back in the game, and then I'm pretty sure this was something that we probably would have never had happen this soon after she passed away.
Well, see, that's honestly, with you saying that the pass away point, I honestly think that's the only reason. If she wouldn't have passed away, we would not be hearing anything of China. The only reason why they're doing this is because she passed away. And honestly, that's kind of sad that, like, someone had to pass away for them to get something.
I mean, Eddie Guerrero,
you know what I mean?
passed away, they put him in the game right away.
Yeah, well, see, Eddie was still around, though. Like, that's a whole different situation. Like, it's not like China. China hasn't been around for a while. They haven't really spoke.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but still, Eddie was actually around when he passed away. So, like, that's more of an understandable thing.
That's why I was trying to make a point.
Right, I mean, that'd be like,
It's still been
go
20
back on
years
that.
since China's been in a game.
Yeah.
Right.
A while. It's been a long time, yeah.
It's been almost.
He was a
10
good
years
person.
since Chris Benoit was in a video game.
No. That is.
See, yeah.
That is something I don't think we'll ever see. That is a different subject.
Yeah.
That is something I don't think we'll ever see.
Yeah.
That is something I don't think we'll ever see, especially since Vince McMahon personally addressed saying that in his power, if it's up to him, and while it's up to Vince McMahon who goes in, who doesn't go into these games, Chris will never, ever see the spotlight inside of a game again.
No, I'm not arguing that, but I'm just saying. I get where Swag was going with the Eddie Guerrero thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was a better example of somebody who wasn't in a video game after they died.
Yeah, it's Chris.
Would be Chris Benoit. Now, if they somehow can magically give me a Harley race, I'm gonna be the happiest man in the world.
They're gonna put Harley Race in the game, though.
I don't think he'll make it this year. I think it'll be
not this year.
Next year. But I'm a Harley Race guy. I'm from that part of Illinois where we discriminate against Chicagoans.
Well, see, here's the thing though that like with the whole Chris Benoit thing though, like I understand the whole blacklist and everything, but at the same time, you gotta think that happened so many years ago, and everybody goes through different things and all that, and he went through a breakdown and snapped and did what he did, and he's been held, he's been held responsible for it. What he did was extremely fucked up.
No, because here's the thing about Benoit. Chris Benoit had fucking CTE. How did he get that CTE though? Because they kept on telling you on the fucking headbutts off the top.
He told you the headbutts.
But Chris Benoit though, like as like a character and a person, like are two different things. What he did and his character, I feel like are two different things. Like I feel like the story of Chris Benoit's life shouldn't be held, but they should at least, I feel like, because of the things Chris did accomplish in WWE and the things he has done, that should be the side of Chris Benoit that they should only spotlight and only show if they do. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you just much though. At least people are no longer getting banned though for making this call though and putting it on community creations.
Exactly.
Because you do remember though, as soon as it happened though, people were making Chris Benoit calls though, and people were getting banned.
They were getting banned, and the calls would be deleted.
Yeah, the calls would get deleted, and Yeah, they were getting banned from 2K servers.
Well, and I think that, again, it comes from the fact of they don't want Christmas. But we're not on Christmas Watch. Let's get back to the subject at hand of being China.
But anyway, back to China. My thing is that what WWE did to her was dirty, first of all.
Yeah.
They did her dirty, first of all.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely did her dirty. And when she was trying to reach out to them, you know, when she was going through her drug issues, though, they just fucking ignored her. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, she's dead. And then even then, when Triple H did Stone Cold's podcast, Triple H was like, you know, there's no plans on putting China into the Hall of Fame, though. And you knew her more than anybody. You and Shawn Michaels knew her more than anybody. And then with the position that you were currently in, Triple H, you could have probably been the one to convince Vince to put her in, though. But you didn't, though, because you wanted to, for some reason, though, I don't know why, protect your ego or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
had an ego.
But the thing about me is this, though.
Stephanie.
I'm just gonna stop it right there because if I keep going, though, it's gonna turn into a full-fledged rant. So,
hey, there's nothing wrong. That's kind of what this is for, is to rant and voice your opinions and kind of see how everybody feels about things. Yeah, but here's another thing, though.
China was bullshit.
I want to bring up, because we brought up how Chris is deaf and how he will never be in a WWE game. Here's another thing that I feel like. China died with a drug thingy, and now she's in a game. Here's one thing that I wonder.
In Hall of Fame?
No, there's that too, yeah. But there's also another person that recently died over a drug overdose that WWE kind of, I feel like, ignored, and that is Ashley. And she has not been announced for any part of the game. Do we think she will be a part of this game or not?
No. I hate to say that, no. And I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because knowing Vince isn't going to waste his time putting somebody like Ashley in it, because Ashley's only big claim to fame was she won a Diva Search contest. Knowing Vince, he's not going to waste his time to put Ashley in.
But Ashley still, though, made a big impact, and she was one of the top stars, and I feel like she's up there with Tori Wilson and Trish Stratus, because that was you know what I mean?
Of course.
I mean, again, though, we don't know what the relationship.
We don't know what the roster is.
WWE.
Yeah.
Don't know the roster, so let's not bring her up yet. But China, though, here's the thing. And
long overdue?
Yes. But I personally, and this is because I've actually taken the time to listen to other things. Do you know who got China clean?
Who?
And you guys won't believe it. He's the biggest fucking drug addict actually in the Attitude Era, and that was X-Pac. Sean Waltman.
X-Pac!
Yep.
X-Pac.
X-Pac, man. He's the guy who tried.
He tried,
yeah.
He tried to mend fences between WWE and her, and it didn't work. But
Sadly.
At that same time, at that point when he was trying to mend that fence, he was in that same predicament where they didn't want to have nothing to do with him either.
Well,
but he got himself cleaned up.
What was brought up earlier, though, I feel like the main reason, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't there a thing going on with China and Triple H at one point?
Yes, there was.
I feel like that right there.
The whole thing with him and Stephanie.
That's why I feel like that right there is the only reason why China has not gotten any big Hall of Fames or was able to come back or anything like that, is because of the fact
I believe it was
that
Stephanie McMahon.
yeah, I feel like
Triple H.
I feel that's what no, I don't think it's Triple H at all. It's the whole Stephanie. Stephanie is jealous of her, and Stephanie doesn't want her around because of the whole fact that China and Triple H happened. It would be like if, for some reason, Stephanie McMahon and Triple H break up and get a divorce.
It's
And
like
then
the
he goes and sees anyone else like Carmella or Mickey James or anybody else. If Stephanie and him get back together, you're gonna see them disappear completely. You know what I mean? They're gonna make you forget, try to forget about it.
Then that's like it's like the equivalent though of you breaking up with an ex-girlfriend though to date somebody else though, and then all of a sudden your current girlfriend feels threatened.
Yeah. Which is honestly wrong with Stephanie, if that is, because of the fact.
Which is fucked up.
Yeah, because it's a whole business. You gotta put in WWE and in your home. You gotta take that as two different things. When they're in WWE, you gotta put your personal life behind, and you gotta look at the business side. And China on the business side had, besides the drug thing, really, I feel like has not done anything wrong, and she shouldn't have been punished because of something that happened before Stephanie's time. You know what I mean? And that's what I feel like. It's a whole like it puts Stephanie's out of the professional side. Is the way I look at it.
Well, you know what the funny thing is though? I guarantee you this though. Had Triple H not did what he did though, China would have never gotten fired.
Well, China didn't get fired. China legitimately, when she missed that back handspring on Ivory, actually fucked up her neck real bad.
But the thing about it is this though. Once China found out that Triple H was cheating on her with Stephanie, she actually approached Vince, and Vince was like, "Well, I guess the cat's out the bag, though." And then next thing you know, he released her.
Yeah.
That's well documented. That's well documented.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying that, I mean, she was going to leave either way.
Yeah. I'm just glad, though, that they're actually starting to recognize China again and starting to bring her back around. And, like, the fans, like me, I would say, like, when I was around, like, she was around, but I was so young that if I didn't really have the passion with WWE and learn the history of WWE, I wouldn't have known who China is because of how completely they just did not talk about her. To where someone younger, like, I think Sin Cara was like 16, if that, and a couple other subscribers that wasn't around in China's era and is around the John Cena era of time, then seeing China, they're like, who the hell is this? It's like Alundra Blaze. Like, they know who she is now because she's been around in games for a few years. But without that, like, they actually get to experience, like, you know.
I mean, I think
it's a good thing.
They get to experience what we grew up with.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing too, but I still personally feel like because everybody has problems, and there have been plenty of people with drug problems that still have been in games, even people who have left
Jeff
on
Hardy.
bad terms and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know, exactly. Left on bad terms and whatnot. I still feel like they could have done it sooner, and they should have done it sooner.
That's what, like I said, the only reason why I think they did not do it sooner is because the whole her and Triple H situation. If that would not have ever happened, it would have been a different side of the story.
Damn right.
Yeah, but I mean, that's all Stephanie, and either way, whether or not Stephanie has any say or not, I mean, regardless, China did do a lot for the company back in the day, and Vince or Triple H, either one, could have overruled Stephanie if they really wanted to.
Oh, Triple H couldn't have ever overruled Stephanie because of many reasons. But I feel like because if you look at it, if you look at it though, Stephanie McMahon is Miss McMahon's little girl, his princess, and I feel like on certain things he would not overrule and disrespect Stephanie with, and this being one of them, because she probably has like has a very passionate reason on why she doesn't want China around and all this that we don't know that Vince actually appreciates and understands. And with her being his little girl, that's going to be the one thing that he'll never cross.
Yeah, but my thing
once Vince makes a decision, it's final. So
yeah.
Yeah, but my thing is though, and this is kind of the part that bothers me about it, is why all of a sudden, now that China's dead, is Stephanie okay with it? Is it because she knows now she has no chance with Triple H?
Exactly. There's no there's nothing to worry about.
You know, and I think personally, I think that's pretty petty. I mean, you're gonna wait until she's dead to give her the respect she deserves because now you don't have to worry about her taking your man back or whatever. I mean, that's petty. In reality, even though she was not in the company, if her and Triple H were still in contact in any way, whether Stephanie knew or not, that could have happened regardless of if China had anything to do with the company or not. And I mean, so that's why I guess this whole situation kind of bothers me because I find it extremely disrespectful to China that they wait until she's dead, all because of some petty 20-year-old girl that Stephanie has. And I mean, because regardless, it does not matter if two people are living. It does not matter if they work together or not. If they have been together due to work, they can get together again. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind that Triple H and China still had some sort of contact, whether it be through Shawn Michaels, whether it be through a mutual friend. Regardless, I have no doubt in my mind while China was alive, they still had contact.
Yeah, they probably did, but you have to also look at it with the route and the career Triple H had with WWE. Where would he actually have had time? Because like we said earlier, Triple H's balls is in Stephanie's hands. I feel like wherever Stephanie was, Triple H was. Wherever Triple H was, Stephanie was.
His balls is in her purse.
Yeah, that's true. But like, even if they had contact, she probably knew about it a little bit. But if she was around in WWE, they would have had a lot more of a chance to do something. Because of Triple H's busy schedule, even when he was a wrestler, where would he have had time, especially since he was always around Stephanie, to where if she was in WWE, if Stephanie walked out and did a promo without Triple H, like she does here and there, where's Triple H? You know.
In the back, and I get that. But on the same note, I guess where it comes down to it is, I'm sure they're not together 100% of the time, and all it takes is a phone call.
I honestly feel like they are.
Well, if Stephanie's that damn clingy, she got some mental issues.
Well, see, it's not really clingy though. It's more of, I feel like Stephanie is a very dominant figure. Like you would think Triple H would be the dominant one, but like you can see that Stephanie is, and I feel more of it's like, yeah, I feel more of it's Triple H is more of a, he's more how do you say?
The reason why Triple H is submissive to Stephanie and does whatever she says is because her daddy pays his bills.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but okay, I'm going to point out, guys, Triple H.
I'm talking about before the whole COO bullshit and all that, the Triple H, you know what I'm saying? When they were just strictly wrestlers, Vince McMahon paid his bills.
Yes.
Okay, yes, you're right. But you also got to figure, Triple H was never dumb. Okay, like, Triple H, I believe, if he even would never have gotten with Stephanie, he would have ended up in the same role he is in now, just because of the way he approaches the business.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring in NXT up, which I probably shouldn't do because it's going to be another little off subject here.
Well, see, it's not really an off, because...
Look how NXT is run.
Yeah.
Look how NXT is run, and look at the main product.
Exactly. That's a perfect example. And we all know who runs each. Vince runs the main, and Triple H runs NXT, and that's why everybody knows. And I feel like that's the only reason why people still stick with WWE, because they know Vince is getting old. he's not shown.
Vince has to die sometime.
No, not that. Vince isn't really shown live. Like Vince is always there at a WWE event and backstage, but he's not really.
Vince is shown on TV. Has anybody ever noticed just how much difficulty he has? Just
exactly. That's why he's not.
I mean, you can
there
tell he's in
much.
pain.
That's why he's not around much. So eventually, eventually he has to hang up his boots and give someone else the right opportunity.
To say, as far as the WWE business goes, that sumbitch is one stubborn cockroach.
I mean,
I got solution for cockroaches.
The question is
that's
when
what Vince is on T-shirt.
Because here's the thing: when he dies, we know that he's going to give the main roster to one of three people.
I got a solution for cockroaches.
Which is also another thing that I want to bring up.
Or Shane.
Trust me.
And I mean,
he's got the
I have a solution for cockroaches.
And I mean,
get the giant shoe.
And this is how I look at it. WWE's too far gone to say. I mean, maybe not too far gone to say, but it ain't.
Here's the thing, and again, I'm gonna throw this out there because I'm tired of this whole AEW's gonna crush WWE thing.
It is.
It's
not. No, it won't.
Eventually.
It won't. You want to know why?
No, it won't, man. It's not going to, man.
Eventually will.
You want to know why it won't? And I'm
eventually
sorry.
Will.
It's nice to dream, but no, it's not.
Eventually
it's a dream, and I honestly,
well,
support it.
Here's the way I look at it. Here's the way I look at it, though. WWE is known for all the big talent. But right now, all of WWE's big talent, besides, like John Cena and stuff, who is barely ever around, are right now trying to get it out of their WWE contracts.
Cannot see.
Go ahead, Tamara.
Exactly. You cannot have a product.
Okay.
You cannot have a product without the talent. If the talent leaves, what are you left with? What are you left with?
I am going to throw this out there because I'm an old motherfucker and I'm probably one of the oldest ones in this party. WCW bought Kevin Nash. They bought fucking Scott Hall, Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper. They had the Nature Boy. They had Dusty Rhodes. They had Scott Steiner. They had Rick Steiner. They had all these other people that are legends in their own fucking right.
The book.
But look what came out on top.
You could chalk it up to management, though.
Yes.
No, it wasn't. You can say that, but it's not true. A roster don't.
Oh yeah, Sin Cara mentioned one other person. You forgot Sting.
The man known as Sting.
Sting was an original, though. Sting was in WCW a very long time.
Yeah,
I'm talking about people bought from WWE.
Okay, fair.
Okay?
Fair enough.
But you wouldn't have got The Undertaker. You wouldn't have got Stone Cold. You wouldn't have got The Rock. You wouldn't have got Triple H, Shawn Michaels. And I'm sorry, that's how I honestly believe, because these people wouldn't have had the spotlight.
Well, both Stone Cold and Triple H were in WCW, so those two.
They were, but look where they ended up, and look how much better they were on the WWE product.
Speaking of bot, has anyone seen this rumored post? Don't know if it's true or I didn't really look on the details of it. No, it's not CM Punk. It's about a different superstar. Where this superstar just signed a contract for the rest of his life with WWE.
Undertaker.
Oops, is it?
The Undertaker.
Yeah, I saw that.
Man,
that dude made a mistake.
What are our opinions on this? If it's true, it could be fake. It's a rumor right now. But how does people feel that the Undertaker just signed his life to WWE? Like WWE officially owns the Undertaker, if that is true.
Well, here's my opinion on it. If it is true, let's just say it is. Regardless of the fact
The Undertaker's so old, he ain't gonna be in the ring much anyway. So he's still gonna be getting paid just to chill at the house the majority of the time, unless he does some backstage work.
Yeah.
I mean, he's old. They can't do much. So I mean, in reality, all WWE would be doing for the most part is paying his retirement for him.
Yeah.
That's like really all it would be. So,
Okay,
I mean,
I'm going to throw this out there, though. You look at Undertaker from about 4 years ago when he... Or no, I'll take it back. You look at his last match against Triple H. And even the first in his match against Brock Lesnar. His hips were so... No. His hips were so bad... He could barely walk around the ring.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward to... what was that last pay-per-view? Extreme Rules.
Goldberg and the tag match, my mistake.
Yeah, the Roman Reigns
versus Drew McIntyre and Shane, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, fast forward to that. Taker's moving around the ring like he was 20 years ago.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you can't tell me that old dog can't get in the ring and dog walk anybody he fucking feels like, because he's gonna knock somebody out.
Exactly.
I hate to tell you.
Well, I mean, he could.
That match with Goldberg was not Taker's fault. That was Goldberg's fault.
Goldberg's fault. I heard about that.
Let's talk about another thing.
I mean,
speaking of Goldberg, let's stay on the Goldberg subject for just a second. And that is the fact that at the moment, at SummerSlam, Goldberg is scheduled to face Roman Reigns.
No, he's scheduled to face Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler.
Wrong person. Get it right.
Sorry, the article that I read said Roman Reigns. The article I'm looking at right now.
He's got his own problems.
But
right
even
now.
Dolph Ziggler, exactly, even better. Dolph Ziggler. I don't think that's actually going to happen. Someone like Goldberg would not return to face someone like Dolph Ziggler. I honestly don't feel like that.
Already confirmed. They signed the contract.
Yeah, it's still a WWE thing. They could have signed a contract, but everything's run by storyline. They could change anything at any point. I don't think that the whole Dolph Ziggler thing's gonna happen. I think it could go back to Roman Reigns, or I think there's gonna be a bigger picture that we're gonna see with this.
Also,
I do too.
I can kind of agree with Magnum on this, because you want to know the reason why, though. There was an article that came out today talking about how Vince made last-minute changes to SmackDown. So
what's up, W?
I can actually agree with Magnum on that.
What's up, JW Productions?
But I do want to kind of point out and throw this out there. What does a business gain from having, if this match happens with Dolph Ziggler, on the wild ass chance it happens,
exactly,
what does the business gain?
That's why I don't think it's happening.
Of Dolph Ziggler jobbing out to Goldberg,
or Goldberg jobbing out to Dolph Ziggler.
Nothing.
It doesn't gain anything.
If anything, all it's going to gain is an hate, because it's a stupid concept. I mean,
exactly. So that's why I don't think it's going to happen.
I could understand maybe Goldberg with someone like Cena, maybe, or Triple H, or you know, one of the old schools,
or Undertaker.
Hell, I might
one-on-one.
could even see it with Brock Lesnar again, even though we've already seen that.
I feel like that one's overran. I feel like that one's overran now.
Yeah, I'd be more willing to watch. I'd be more willing to watch Goldberg versus someone like Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns than Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler
No. See, I'm gonna squash that right now. I don't believe to make it even viably. How can I put this? To make it believable, you can't even have him against a Finn Balor or a Seth Rollins. It would have to be somebody.
Has his own problems anyway right now.
It would have to be somebody like Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, My personal favorite, Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
Or maybe on the off chance, just because he was around back in the day as well, I might could see AJ Styles because he was in WCW for a while. So I might could see that one, and might could see something going on with that. But, I mean, other than that, I mean, Dolph Ziggler's like the worst person to put someone like Goldberg against.
That's why I don't feel like it's going to happen.
No, I don't believe even with AJ it would work. It has
I'm saying, I'd be more willing. I think Goldberg needs to go against someone big.
Exactly. As big as Goldberg is, if as big as he is, there's no way in hell that he's going to return to face someone so small for any reason. It's
Drew
like Brock
McIntyre,
Lesnar. It's like Brock Lesnar going back to UFC to face CM Punk.
To fight Conor McGregor.
What does it do for him? What would that do for him?
No, you beat a little guy's ass. You beat a little guy's ass.
For Goldberg?
You're 3 times the size. You're 3 times the size, and you beat a little guy's ass. Cool. And that's the extent of it.
You want to?
I mean, Goldberg's size. I mean, I would believe if they did something like that. I would literally believe Goldberg backhands Dolph Ziggler, he flies across the ring, and he's knocked out. I mean, just because of the size difference.
He's dead. On that one.
But Undertaker, Cena, Drew McIntyre, someone of a larger stature.
They didn't report a murder.
I could see, because then I feel like at least they have more of a chance.
Yeah.
Now, the only way I could see Dolph Ziggler or a little guy even coming close to me is if they pull some Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar shit, do the low blow somewhere. Or,
exactly.
But then that's overplayed. The little guys doing the low blow on the big guys, even that's overplayed. I mean,
but again, if it works, it works.
Yeah, I mean, true, but I mean...
I believe, in 100% honesty, though, I can kind of see what Magnum was saying. But I do believe we'll see a Dusty Rhodes finish here, guys.
Yeah, we're going to see a Dusty finish here.
I believe we're going to see somebody come in who, I don't know, like, possibly a Roman Reigns. Possibly. Or a Fiend.
Yeah.
Or Glazer.
Just somebody that's not Dolph Ziggler.
Somebody who's not.
I agree. Personally, I agree with Vito. I'd like to see a Goldberg versus Braun Strowman, or hell, maybe even a Goldberg versus Wyatt. I'd like to see something.
That might be what might happen.
My thing is for one, Dolph Ziggler ain't did shit since he's been in the company, really.
Well, he did at the beginning. His last couple years.
No, he didn't. He was part of the Spirit Squad when he started. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry, but the Spirit Squad, when the Spirit Squad was around, that had so much hype, and that was one of the most popular things when the Spirit Squad was around.
The only reason why it had hype is because they got shit and fucking green shit thrown at them all the time.
Exactly. It was still something big, though. It was still something big, though.
In the last few years, out of the WWE I've watched, every time I've seen Dolph Ziggler come out, he's cried about something.
Yeah.
He's a crybaby.
He's a cheerleader. What do you expect?
He's
a cheerleader. What do you expect?
Who cries about literally everything, who relinquished a title because it wasn't the title he wanted.
Yeah.
And walks out.
Well, I mean,
against someone like Goldberg, I mean, you should have more respect for Goldberg than that.
I mean, in WWE,
even Seth Rollins, at least Seth Rollins doesn't cry about everything.
See, in WWE, though, here's the thing.
Storyline, though.
Here's the thing, though, in WWE. Even if you win a title, what does it really mean anymore?
Hold on, I'm going to throw this out there. They have the Universal title, right? They had a champion that was going to go out, defend it every fucking week. But he drops it to Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, it's the Brock title. Let's face it, I don't think I will... Until Brock Lesnar fully retires, I think he's going to, if he loses that title, he's going to get it back.
I'm sorry, but the best title in WWE right now is the 24.
Yeah,
I cannot disagree with you on.
It's a stupid ass concept, but it's hilarious.
That's the best title. That is better than the Universal title.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
The 24 title is better than the Universe title.
Back on the subject.
Let's get back to the China subject.
2K20, please.
Let's get back to the China subject.
Oh, do we have to?
Yes.
Okay.
As fun as the other subjects are, this is the subject that we're supposed to be in on hand.
Stick to the forum, people.
We can't.
Fuck the forum.
Well, see, that's the point.
When have we ever stuck to the forum doing one of Magnus podcast? People?
See, that's the point.
Never.
We have bulletin points, but our bulletin points leads to other points. The bulletin points are just there to start some.
Exactly.
You know, we started this on the topic of a video game that was coming out, and we ended up talking about the entire company in itself.
What?
We already talked people.
Well,
And
see,
then we also
here's
talked
the
about
thing.
the fact about how Triple H is pussy whipped. So you know, but you know.
Here's the thing, though.
We never stay on track with any of these.
Here's the thing, though. Us talking about the company as a whole is kind of still staying on topic. Because this game is based on the company as a whole.
Let's just keep it real, everybody. That's like, let's just keep it real, everybody.
But, I mean,
Triple
not
H
only
is the
that, but with
equivalent
the
of the football
situation where
comment.
China was screwed over until she died. I mean, right now they're practically screwing over Goldberg. Like, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, screwed over Goldberg. Why does Goldberg keep coming the fuck back?
So I mean, it's still
They're retired.
technically on topic about how WWE is screwing people over, like China. I mean, it still kind of is on topic, I guess.
Anyway,
What else?
what's our next bulletin point?
Are we going to the next? Are we leaving from China? Like, do we have nothing else to say about China?
Please, calm down.
I think we can move on.
Can we please do
Alright.
I
that?
think if we
Move
stay
on.
in China, we're gonna.
We're gonna
You're
talk
gonna
about
keep
mine
talking
at
about how
this point.
pussy whipped Triple H
keep
is.
rambling.
And here's the next bulletin point. Here's the next
next
bulletin
bulletin
point where it's the whole third aspect of you get Hulk Hogan, you get China if you get the deluxe or the collectors, but you also get the Rock and Sock collection.
Connection.
Connection, collection, whatever. How do we feel about this?
Oh,
I honestly feel like this is a
that should've
wasted
been a
thing.
thing.
I feel like this is a wasted thing right here
Yeah.
personally, because this is something that we've always gotten. This ain't something new. Like Hulk
Yeah.
Hogan, that's new.
This ain't
China,
nothing new.
that's new. Every WWE game we've always
You know
had
what
the Rock and the
only
Sock.
Thing, you know what the only thing that we're gonna get from this? You know what the only thing we're gonna get from this? We're gonna get a new entrance template.
Yes,
That's about it.
exactly.
And also get
maybe-
Mankind back.
Well, with that though,
get Mankind back, and we may get the double people's elbow as a
And
tag
a
team.
yeah. Well, we see, we are
Claw.
supposed to get the
As a
Mankind,
quarter tag team move.
but here's also another thing that we're supposed
But
to
that's
get.
still a waste of time.
Here's
That's still a waste.
another thing we're supposed to get though, which I don't know really what this means or how this plays in effect, but it also says with it we're supposed to it's supposed to include a $500 shirt of the Rock and Sock collection Mankind. Well, Rock and Sock connection Mankind. Like
That's in the game, actually. That's in
yeah,
the game.
but still, like my whole thing is
That's
like
not a
that.
physical thing.
It still piques my interest though, because like, what do they mean by a $500 shirt in the game?
Well, I mean, regardless, it's still a waste of code. Because,
It's a waste, yes.
I mean,
It
it's
is.
a waste of code.
A complete waste of code.
This is something that I
all-
would have been happy if we didn't have to worry about. Like, this is not something for you to, like, hey, if you get the deluxe or the collectors, you get this. This is not something that jumps me. Like, oh, I gotta get the
This
collectors.
isn't pre-order worthy.
You know? This isn't even pre-order, yeah.
Well, we see where this is going. A lot of people are going to shy away from getting the pre-order shit this year.
Well, see, the pre-order stuff hasn't even been announced. This has nothing to do with pre-order. This is just if you buy the deluxe or if you buy the collectors.
Okay, well, still,
this is something you
it's
receive for
still,
free.
The deluxe or collectors, it's still not worth buying. I mean,
No, not at all.
It's still not
That's
worth
what
it.
I meant. It's going to shy people away
The
from getting
collectors
those
is not
two.
worth jack. Let's
Well,
say
it's-
that much.
that's,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think, if I'm
yeah,
not
the
mistaken,
collectors-
that's next bulletin point. So I have a lot to say about
I mean,
that too.
I mean,
Yeah.
But right now,
regardless,
right
in
now,
2K19 right now,
Question. I'm
Right
not trying
now,
to
I
rush
bet-
through anything, but how many bulletin points do we have?
We have like two more.
500.
But the last one is going to lead into.
How long have we been going at this? Like,
this one?
About 2 hours.
The first one.
Okay.
Yeah, the first one.
I just wanted to make sure.
The first one was like almost
well,
an hour, and then this one's like 2 hours. Yeah.
Okay, so
It's
here's
turning
my
out
quick
to be
thing.
one hell of a podcast, boys.
Well, see, that's what that was the plan.
Here's my
So
thing:
here's
would
my-
the collector's edition be worth it if we actually got a $500 shirt?
I don't
Possibly.
sleep, so.
You know.
Yeah.
You know. $500
Right.
shirt. You know.
But
You
we're
go
not
throw
even
a
on the
$500
the
shirt
collector's
in the
edition right now,
box.
though. We're on just the Rock
I'm
and the
saying-
sock.
I know. That's what I'm
But,
saying. It's a waste of
But
code.
here's my thing.
It is.
Because,
It's a big waste.
Well, this ties into what I'm saying. I mean, that code, you could have used that code for something so much better. You know,
There could have been,
there's
so many other
much-
things. So many
you
other
know,
things.
Because let's face it, we can make the shirt in the
game.
little design shit.
Yeah.
In game.
Grab the logo real quick, upload it, boom, we have
the
it.
moves. You know, we may not have the moves, but in reality, those moves aren't really anything special. Let's face it. There are better tag moves.
Yeah.
It's not like we're getting anything special that's
there's
worth $100.
not really anything special.
Just kind of
you
paying
know-
at this point.
The only
You know,
big thing
I
is, like we've said, is because if I'm not mistaken, we haven't really had a Mankind in the last couple years, and that'd be the only good thing that we get from it. But we have Mick Foley, and always had The Rock. We've always
And we've
had
had Dude
them
Love,
paired
but
as
we
a
haven't
tag
had
team.
much-
You know.
Yeah.
So this isn't really anything
I mean-
new, or really like, oh my god, I gotta get this game because you can get The Rock in the sock. Oh my god.
That's
You know?
not worth,
It's not,
That's not
no.
worth the money.
If they'd added it into the base game, I'd have been cool with it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't think it was a waste of code. But this is literally something we have to pay extra for.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like
And that's where
this
my
year.
issue comes in. It's not a waste of code if it's in the base game.
Yeah.
But if we're having to pay extra for it, you could have coded in so much better shit up in that code.
Yeah.
Here's another thing about this
that
too.
Little tiny bit of code, you could
Yeah.
have done something so much better.
But here's another thing about this though. Think about it. Every year for the last 5 years, whatever, we've had this. We've already had them. Think about it. How many people actually used?
That's the point.
Like,
the interest is in the game somewhere. It's just under a different name. As all entrances usually are.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
time
know
waste of code because you're paying an extra $20 though just for code though. That
Yeah.
comes with China, Hogan, Rock and Sock.
Maybe if it was just maybe
And
if
the
the Rock
season
and Sock
pass.
was like
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe if the
damn.
Rock and Sock was like Hulk Hogan in China, where it's a pre-order exclusive,
Well, see,
pre-order bonus or whatever.
exactly.
I wouldn't have as big of an issue with it. But we're literally having to pay $20 extra dollars that we make for something that we should have had in the base game.
Exactly.
We should have had in the first place.
Exactly.
See,
we
here's
should
the
have
thing
had
though.
this
Also,
last 3 games.
think about it though. They knew that this right here is so much of a bullshit code that they knew they couldn't sell it unless they put something like Hulk Hogan and China in front of it.
Yeah, but either way, when you pre-order just the regular base edition, you get those. They're pre-order exclusive.
Exactly. What's up,
At least I'm
Awesome
pretty sure.
King?
So either way, you still have no incentive to pre-order the collector's edition
Exactly.
or the deluxe edition.
And-
you have no incentive except maybe the season pass.
Well,
for
see,
the deluxe
that's it.
edition.
The deluxe edition, the only
That's
thing that
it.
keeps me for the deluxe edition is China and Hulk Hogan right now. And that's the deluxe
Yeah,
edition. That's the deluxe edition.
That's it.
the
Because
collector's
I
edition,
don't know
they're
about y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not shelling out no $120 though for the fucking SmackDown Collector's Edition though.
Yeah.
Where
Which, before we talk
because-
about that, we'll talk about that collector's edition that you just announced. When we get it, it's literally the next bulletin point. so hold your thoughts on that.
I kind of want to talk about
point
that
is-
too, but I'm gonna wait. I will hold my tongue.
My point is,
Yeah,
the point is, they just could have done something better. Shit.
they could have did something better.
Exactly.
That's something we could have done in the Creator Studio. It's not.
Just a
It's
side
not nothing
note,
special.
the steak nacho fries are awesome.
It ain't nothing special.
But do we have anything else that we can really say about this
good.
besides it's trash?
No. No.
Because clearly we have
Look
a
at the real trash. Look at the real trash.
No, look, this ain't even trash. It's like
Let's just
This
Okay.
ain't even trash. It's a sewer. Okay.
Let's get to the
pretty
real.
much. let's get to clearly a subject we. Let's get to the subject that we've all been really wanting to discuss. After we've talked about this, it's been a point that I had to stop many times. Say it. It's going.
Let's just
here it is.
Take this one at a time.
It's on
please.
the screen. The collector's edition is 20th anniversary of SmackDown.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
It's complete trash.
Here's the thing. What really in the collector's edition makes me really look? Okay. Here's a couple things. No. There's a couple things in it that I could actually say that would be cool to would be cool to have. I say cool to have, not make me want to pay for this. But let's see if I can get to it real quick. Where was it?
You know the only thing that would make me pay for this collector's edition is if they gave me year passes to SmackDown Live. Then I might consider it.
And you know what the other thing is about this collector's edition though? Here's the thing about the collector's edition though. If you guys saw what's in that collector's edition now, there are 3 plaques.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. That's what I was talking about.
You only get
one,
and it's random.
Yeah, you don't know which one you get, and
so if you don't get the plaque that you get, you're just fucked.
Exactly.
It's not worth the one.
And the plaques are.
People are reserving it.
Yeah.
But yet, here's the thing, though. I know 3 people though that I know personally have already pre-ordered it under the impression that they're getting all 3 plaques though, and then
well, because it's the way they worded it.
I haven't told them, I still haven't told them that you're only getting 1 plaque. And it's random.
It's because it's the way they worded it. It's the way they worded it. Like you have to read it a couple times, really, because it said like the plaques are really the only thing that would really make me want to get it, but that's not even worthy enough. Because you would get either Kurt Angle. I'm a big fan of Kurt Angle. You get Rey Mysterio. I'm a huge fan of Rey Mysterio, always been. And then you get Edge. Edge, freaking Radar Superstar. That's pretty fucking awesome. But, like you said, I'm looking at the GameStop. And it says collectible, piece containing WWE SmackDown Legend autograph. It says Kurt Angle / Rey Mysterio / Edge. That right there says you're getting all. But if you go to 2K's page themselves, it says Kurt Angle / Rey Mysterio / or Edge. It says or. And that is where the fuck up is.
The thing about it is, though, here's the article. It says, includes a limited edition WWE SmackDown Legend autograph plaque from one of 3 WWE superstars. The plaque will be signed by Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio, or Edge, which is huge in its own right. But that's not the only physical thing you get. You get an exclusive WWE SmackDown ring skirt relic piece. Who gives a fuck?
But see, you don't even get really a special one.
No. Here's the other thing about it, which, by the way, that ring skirt relic piece is in a plaque itself.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're going to be able to, touch it physically.
No, because I bought the collectors for last year for Ric Flair's because I was a big fan of Ric Flair, and I have the autograph plaque of that.
And I bought the NXT. And I bought the NXT joint only because of Finn Balor statue.
While we're on stream, thank you for that, by the way, just to put that out there for what you did for me. That was appreciated. Thank you.
Huh?
What you did for me for this year was much appreciated. Thank you.
No problem. Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah. I don't think anybody really knows what we're talking about. It took me a minute, but I know it's no problem.
I remember it. I know it.
So what did you do?
Well, I mean,
if you want to,
for me.
Yeah, I'm the reason how Swag got the deluxe edition of wrestling this year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's my thought. If someone wants a plaque bad enough, there's always eBay.
Exactly.
Literally.
I'm out.
I'm pretty sure there are going to be people who are made of money who buy multiple collector's editions and stock up on them plaques and sell their maybe double price, but you get the one you want.
Exactly.
At least then you have a guarantee. If you want Edge, you are guaranteed to.
Well, you can get all 3 though. Is the thing, and you don't have to pay for the SmackDown collectors.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm not buying that trash fuck shit.
eBay
might be cheaper.
Always eBay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Can we all but mostly agree it is going to be straight garbage?
Well, because like we're talking about
garbage, again, it's going to be a septic tank. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because we're getting screwed over. Regardless, if you pay 120, 140, however much a month, let's go. For that
120. You a dumbass.
Like the only reason why I would get this, the only reason why I would get this.
I'm talking about like you're that motherfucking thing.
Would probably be for the box.
Y'all hold on a second. Hold on. Psych, go.
The only reason why I would get this is because of like if you were able to pick the plaque of the autograph, that would be the only reason why I would get this. But it also says, you know, you get the ring skirt between 2000 2008 of SmackDown. Okay, if I could pick that too, because like, say you went to a SmackDown during that and something happened like impacts your life, you know, I would get that. But that's even still okay. It's a ring skirt. Okay, I can go cut up a piece of fabric, throw it in a plaque, and like it's a ring skirt. Is it really the ring skirt?
And you know what the other effed up thing is, though? I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm gonna tell you a main reason why this is not worth $120. Because if you recall, the past few years, what did we get in those collector's editions that we're not getting in this one? Because someone just said it in the chat.
Well, in the NXT one, you got
the figure.
Exactly. A fucking figure. We got a fucking Ric Flair limited edition, limited.
That's right there, right now. I have that right up there right now.
Last year, you couldn't get that Ric Flair pop vinyl nowhere unless somebody was gonna sell it on freaking eBay.
Yeah.
We don't get shit.
Last year you
in
also
this
got
SmackDown Collection Edition, we don't get shit.
No, not this year for the
Last year you
SmackDown.
also got the replica of his Hall of Fame ring.
Yes.
That too.
Which is cheaply made, I can say.
I couldn't remember.
No, you got both. You got a piece of Flair's Dennis like
with his a piece of his robe with his autograph.
Pink or red robe back in like the 90s. Don't even autograph it.
I think I got a purple one. I think I got his purple one.
I mean, here's my thing on it.
You got the pop button.
Yeah, and then the ring.
My thing on it.
That sold it right there for me.
Regardless, this is a ripoff. If I've ever known a ripoff.
Yeah, like, completely.
This is
piss poor is what it is.
Like, I'm gonna compare this to something else. The only other company I know that does this. This is some Call of Duty shit.
Yeah.
You gotta pay for everything.
They really do.
You gotta pay for everything. You want, like in Call of Duty, you want a camo, you gotta pay for it. That's what this is. You gotta pay for it, and then you're not even sure you're gonna get what you want.
Type shit.
Yeah, and then you don't even know what you're gonna get. I mean, that's the thing. You pay extra, you don't know what you're gonna get. Like, yeah, I guess you could pre-order like 5 or 6 of them bitches if you were made with money. Then you might be more guaranteed to get the one you want.
Yeah, and then get rid of the ones you don't.
I'm just gonna get the deluxe edition only because of the season pass, and that's it.
Well, see, I think I'm just gonna get the deluxe edition also. But like I said, like I was gonna say, the only thing that would make me get the SmackDown edition is because when I got the Ric Flair edition, it came with the WWE Supercard bonus thing of the Ric Flair and stuff, and I may
go digital this year.
I sold the cards for $60. Somebody bought the cards for $60. So therefore, I got the Ric Flair ring, the robe, and the pop figure for the same price of the deluxe edition because someone bought the codes. That would be really the only reason why, like, I would get this one is to sell the codes again.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. And
we'll give them away.
This is my thing when it comes to it. When it comes down to it, all right, this collector's edition
is trash compared to the rest of them.
In reality, if you got all
it's the worst collector's edition in the past 5 years.
I'm going to say it now. I would have rather had a John Cena collector's edition. Or
even
talk about Brock Lesnar collector's edition.
Hell no.
Even a Brock. I would have rather had a Brock Lesnar.
Do not put that idea.
Or
yes.
Here's another thing.
Better than this piece of shit.
Here's another thing. I would rather have as a collector's edition a Bailey collector's edition than this.
I would rather have had a
Hugger's Collector's Edition is what I would have rather had.
I would have rather had myself like a Charlotte Flair Collector's Edition, though.
Y'all want to know what this Collector's Edition reminds me of? This Collector's Edition is like we're getting a James Ellsworth Collector's Edition over here.
I would have look. That's the thing. I would have rather had a James Ellsworth Collector's Edition than this.
Speaking of
I would
James
spend
Ellsworth,
$130 for James Ellsworth Collector's Edition with his autograph.
Speaking of James Ellsworth, actually, speaking of James Ellsworth, though, one of my actual close personal friends actually wrestles for his fan in Maryland and shit. In fact, we're bringing up James Ellsworth.
Yep. Okay, so I gotta say this. This collector's edition sucks, but I'd rather would have had a DX collector's edition.
Yeah, like
this
anything.
Collector's edition has got to be the worst collector's edition in
SmackDown?
the past
coming up
years.
with the whole DX collector's edition. I could see that, but they're trying to push all this with China. I mean, why didn't we get a China collector's edition? I mean, something better.
With the way that they're based in this game, obviously this game is supposed
all this talk about the women's, let's talk about the women's revolution. That would have
been a better collector's.
Man, give me a Becky Lynch, man. Becky Lynch, something.
Something to do with the women's evolution, for sure. Something to do with the women's evolution.
The only way I would buy this is if 2K just updated and put year passes. You give me year passes to SmackDown, I don't care if I like the product or not, man. It's free.
Right?
It's
Actually,
free.
You know what the funny thing is? It's funny you talk about year passes, but the way that I'm going to describe it is this. Because originally, what 2K was planning on doing, they were planning on having 2K19 go for another year, as in they were going to have like season 1 and season 2 passes that just upgraded the roster, but apparently that fell through the cracks.
Well, that's because let's face it, in 2K19 the career mode was lackluster at best.
Yeah.
I mean
that was one of the main reasons why that whole season 1 and season 2 passed the 2K19
and
fell through the cracks.
Keep this in mind. I hated the career mode in 2K18, but I'd rather play the 2K18 career mode than the 2K19 because at least in 2K18 you can keep it going.
Yeah.
Which also leads me to this point, and I'm not sure if you guys talked about it before I came in, though. I am skeptical about this man and woman mode in 2K20.
We kind of talked about that a little bit.
About it.
Yeah, we talked about that. That was one of the first points we got.
Okay, but I'm skeptical about it. I'm real skeptical about it.
Here's my thing. Honestly, here's my thing. I prefer the 2K17 career mode to 2K18 or 19, where it's just a grid.
Because
where it's set up like universe mode. And I mean, maybe I'm wrong for that, but I mean, at least then we didn't have all this fucking extra shit. And I mean, it kept going.
Exactly.
You could choose what title you went for.
Exactly.
You could choose exactly what you did. You could choose your rivalries.
You could choose if you want to be in a tag team.
You had more say.
You had the power of your career.
And the thing about it is, Magnum,
you were like the Vince McMahon of your own career.
Yeah.
In 2K19, man, they just threw a career mode at us, and we had to follow the story. And it's just like, man, if it's my career, I want it to be my career, not the career you picked for me. I want it to be my career.
And that's the problem with this next one that's coming on. Is like, they speak the women's evolution, but like, I feel like with the career that they put in for the women's, it's a more slap in the face on their own movement because, like I said earlier, but you weren't here, Twitchy, so I want to see your aspect of what I'm about to say. I feel like hold on. I feel like with them making a co-op man and female mixed match career thingy, they're slapping the whole movement in the face. Because the way I look at it, it's like they're saying a chick cannot have a career in WWE unless a man fronts her.
That sounds
Well, I wasn't
gonna go there, but here's my thing up over here though. But I'm gonna say because you guys already talked about it though, and I wasn't here when you guys talked about it.
Talk about it.
The reason why I'm so skeptical about this is because of one reason only. You guys know how in the past 3 games we have had to literally grind up a VC and then open up those those crates in order to unlock moves, attires, and all this other extra bullshit for fucking career mode. That right there is going to be my biggest pet peeve though for this man and woman career mode, because I'm gonna tell you this over here right now.
You gotta do it not with only one, but two.
Yeah, you have to grind double.
See, that's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing though. But here's my thing. Here's the most important thing though. Let's say for all intents and purposes though, because Samurai Nightmare already know. What if I decided to make Cinderfall and make Broken Twitch and then do career mode though? But then I literally gotta bust my tail in order for me to be able to unlock the in order for me to be able to unlock the KOD for Cinder or the Twist of Fate for Broken Twitch.
See,
that's gonna be some bullshit.
Almost like you gotta run the career off stream 5 times. 5 times to get enough VC before you do the official.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to grind my ass off outside of career mode in order for me to be able to get the VC. But the thing about it was this though. Why can't it be like it was in 2K16 where it was like, oh, you got the season pass, you got the unlocker, you unlock everything, including the moves for career mode, so you can just go in and do your thing. But once 2K17 came out, it was like, you know what we gonna do? We gonna make these motherfuckers sweat. We gonna make guys have to grind up, open up these crates. No, it's basically It's basically 2K sliding in these. It's basically 2K sliding in.
It's 2K sliding into Call of Duty transactions. Yeah, except it's more like Black Ops 4 where you can grind them out or you can buy the VC to get them. I mean, that's like, I mean, they're pulling Activision business practices, which people shit on Activision for all the time. I mean, 2K17 wasn't as bad about it as 18 and 19. 18 and 19 got ridiculous. 17 wasn't as bad.
205 VC
I'm gonna tell you right now, I sincerely fucking hope that legislation deems this shit fucking illegal.
Yeah.
And they put a stop to this. Because microtransactions are no, because the thing about it though is microtransactions are already being frowned upon in other countries around the world.
Yeah.
If US legislation deems this shit to be gambling, this shit is going to die at the drop of a hat. And the thing about it is, but you know the thing about it is though, companies like 2K and EA, you know what they're going to start doing? They're going to start doing this same bullshit that I'm talking about right now. They're going to start doing this random loot generating bullshit where it's like, you know, oh, you spend 2,000 VC here and you get like 6 items out of a gold chest, 4 items out of a silver chest, and maybe 3 items though out of a bronze chest. And then depending on which chest you buy, your chances of you acquiring like a rare goes up.
And then here's
the
thing about it.
Just like in Overwatch.
This is my biggest issue with it. And it's the
Hashtag Rocket League.
This is my biggest issue about it, and this is my biggest issue about this system. This system of grinding would not be as bad if we were at least dupe protected. But we're not. We get duplicates of everything, and they're crazy.
Well, you know what the funny thing is? Well, you know what the funny thing is, though? I can applaud Blizzard and Activision for doing one thing, though, because they put a stop to that in Overwatch. But other companies have not gotten the memo.
You know, Activision and Blizzard did that with Overwatch, but they made it 3 times worse with Black Ops 4.
They made it 3 times worse, though, for you to be able to get what you need, because the thing about Overwatch is that, for the people that don't play it, though, is that, though, you spend, okay, let's say you spend $40 and you get 50 loot boxes, though. There's no guarantee that you're going to be able to pull the skin that you wanted out of those 50. That's the thing. See, this is the thing that I much rather prefer. I much rather prefer if games went down the path of Dota or like League of Legends, where you buy credits and you use those credits to get what you want, and depending on the rarity of the skin or the cosmetic, you have to pay X amount. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what. Yeah, that's like that is
Here's
what
the thing, though, guys.
yeah, but that's what these companies used to do. Because the thing about it is this, though, you would make a lot more money if you did that. If you gave people X amount of credits, depending on the money that they spent, and then they could just buy whatever they wanted, though, you would make double, close to triple, maybe even possibly quadruple your money. Because
did the math, and this is going something similar to, a lot of other games.
Yeah.
Like, depending on what weapon you want for Black Ops, let's just say, and this is going into 2K too, because same thing with moves. If you decide to buy your COD points or VC or whatever, there are some things you have to spend over $2,000 just to fucking get because of how rare it is to get. And I'm sitting here like, like the ballistic knife when it came out. People were people did the math, and they're like, the least we've seen anybody spend is $500. Me, I don't have $500 I can just throw away.
On a fucking ballistic knife.
And
can I say something though? And this is gonna blow your fucking minds. We're talking about the same people. This is 2K I'm talking about here. Who did a basketball game?
Man, don't even get me started on that shit. Don't even get me fucking started on NBA 2K.
No, but listen to me. Okay? Look how much microtransactions people do with NBA.
Yep.
Okay? Now, they think they're going to be able to do that same kind of thing with a wrestling game. I'm sorry, I don't blame Ukes for leaving because that's not what Ukes is about.
Yeah.
The microtransactions they're trying to implement where you got to go buy VC from the PlayStation Network where they make more money on the game.
But do you want to know the reason why that is a thing in NBA 2K? Because you want to know the reason why 2K has fucking rigged that game, has fucking rigged that game so much. And then I'm pretty sure Magnum is going to agree with me when I say this, though.
I think we all might.
You can't shoot, you can't pass, and mind you, the last good 2K game, in my opinion, was 16, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. 2K16 was good because you want to know the reason why? You wasn't bogged down. Your character started out as close to a 60 overall. You were at least able to pass the rock and at least drop at least 10 points a game. Now it's like your player can't shoot, you can't fucking pass, you can't do a dribble move without losing the rock. Hell, they got a fucking gauge for fucking layups.
Yep.
That's the reason why I took my ass to NBA Live for the past 2 years, though. It ain't as good as 2K, but I'm going to tell you something right now. Oh, and by the way, here's another thing now. 2K now all of a sudden wants to put the WNBA in their thing. Guess what's going to happen? And they want to talk about making a WNBA career mode. I'm not buying that shit, even if they do put in WNBA. Because one of the reasons why it's going to be the same bullshit. Can't shoot, can't pass. You got a dude all up on you. I mean, for fuck's sakes, though, man, you could have Seth Curry, though.
I mean,
dead aim 3-point shooter, man in his face.
The fact
he could be all behind the 3-point line. The second that somebody run up on him, though, and didn't contest the shot, oh, he's missing.
Yep.
The fact is, and this is my thing, and this is going for 2K, Activision, any studio that does games. The reason why they're still doing these microtransactions is as much as people complain about them, they still buy them.
Exactly.
Regardless. I mean, you quit buying them, you quit buying them, they'll quit doing them.
Yep.
I mean, look at Call of Duty, for example. For the first time in I don't know how many years, Call of Duty has a free season pass. There is no season pass. DLC maps are going to be released to everybody on Modern Warfare. That's fine. But how many microtransactions with COD points are we going to have?
Exactly.
How many loot-based supply drops are we going to have? How many of these are we going to have? I guarantee you they're going to triple down on this. They're
Exactly.
going to triple the fuck down on it. And
yeah, they are.
2K's following the same business model, and the reason why all these other gaming studios like 2K, 2K, EA, all of these other gaming studios are doing microtransactions. They're like, oh
it's
shit,
because they're trying to get the most money possible.
Actually, I'm going to throw this out there because I just bought Madden 20. There is no microtransactions.
Well, that's Madden. There's never been.
Give it some time. You give it a couple of years.
Give it some time.
No. But okay. And even on hockey, on NHL, they're fucking.
Well, you can't really put microtransactions in a freaking hockey game, dude. You can't really put microtransactions in a hockey game.
Okay, but here's the point I'm trying to make. EA still don't do microtransactions.
But with Madden, but here's the thing. Here's the thing about Madden now. Madden Ultimate Team. Give it a couple of years. Watch EA put some freaking microtransactions in Madden Ultimate Team. I'm telling you.
Oh, dude, they've always had
EA does do microtransactions. EA does do microtransactions. They're not as bad, but fuck, what's the name?
They're not as bad.
Anthem was made by EA, but it's got a shit ton of microtransactions.
It does.
They're not as bad. They're not as bad as like the COD or
2K.
The 2K.
It's 2K. Yeah.
They're not as bad as those, but they are still in there. But regardless, I keep hearing all these people on YouTube and all these people in the communities of all of these different games bitching about microtransactions. Quit buying them. When they start losing money, they gonna quit doing it.
And the thing about it was, people were crying and whining last year, though, that WWE 2K19 was about microtransactions. And the thing about it was, I was telling people then, they're not going to put microtransactions in the 2K19. And when people were asking me why, I was like, then that's like, you're not going to put microtransactions in the game simply due to the fact that the only way it would work would be for career mode. And to tell you the truth, not everyone was on board with career mode last year.
Dude, career mode was so boring to me, I got through half of it and I just gave up.
You made it through half of it though, right, man? I had that feud with Bobby Roode and won the U.S. title, and I was like, you know what, fuck it.
Like, I literally made it through half of it, and it was just, so I could, the only reason why I made it through half of it was I was going to be like, I'm going to hope it gets interesting. I was hoping.
You know what 2K needs to do? You know what 2K needs to do, though? And the thing about it is just this would be the perfect way to fix career mode. You guys remember SmackDown, Shut Your Mouth, and Here Comes the Pain and all that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
They need to take a page out of THQ's book.
Well, see,
here's my thing.
Those career modes were always so much better than 2K's, like the SmackDown vs. Raw career modes. Those were always like I always beat the SmackDown vs. Raw career mode, and Here Comes the Pain, like you said, and all that.
And that's actually
it was no trouble.
That brings up a game I was actually about to bring up. One of my favorite modes of a wrestling game of all time that I don't understand why 2K doesn't bring in. I'm not gonna lie, I may be one of the few, but GM mode. I fucking love being in control of the show and being able to yes, people argue that technically that's what universe mode is, but no, it's not.
Because GM mode, you
had
a certain amount of money. Your money. You had to manage your money.
And it was logical, and like you had to base your storylines and all of that shit. And the universe mode, you can just throw something together.
And the thing about me is this. And the thing about me is this, though. Just think about it like this. Imagine IPCW or Nightmare Show or Samurai Show or hell, even my show with GM mode, bro. Especially me. Especially me though, because I make all my girls 100 overall every year. Just imagine this: me having to blow like $5 million though just to keep Cinderfall on my show for the entire year.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That would be a bitch and a half to handle.
Not to mention in GM modes, you also had to worry about ratings. Like they had the rating system, and the rating system determined how much. I mean, that shit was just so interesting and so fun, and I wish 2K would bring that back.
See, and I really do.
And speaking of that, also, I'll let you say what you're going to say in a minute, Vito, but that is the big reason why I bought Fire Pro. It's because of GM mode. That is the biggest reason why I bought Fire Pro.
Fire Promoter?
Yeah. Fire Promoter is
still
amazing.
GM mode.
Yeah, well, you can technically cheat Fire Promoter Magnum, though, because they put out a freaking cheat code, though, that you can just use, though, and then you can just max out your entire roster. You just sign everybody that you got uploaded.
But still, they've had it, and that was the main reason why I bought it. But as you were going to say, Vito.
They have like $50 billion just to burn and shit.
Here's the deal, guys, is in reality, yes, Universe Mode was supposed to be, and I'm going to use this, a replacement for GM Mode. That was the original concept behind it, alright?
Which wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It's not bad.
It wasn't
it's not bad.
But
it's gotten worse, though.
Listen to me, guys. Listen to me, though. Now, if they start implementing some of these other things, like the rating system and having to bid for your superstars, a draft date in your career or in your universe mode.
Exactly. That would
just make it so much better. Enhance the experience and still call it universe mode. Now, on that flip side, though, where Twitch was coming from, though, when you get these people, and I'm guilty of it, and a lot of people who are on our shows that we go download their characters every fucking year.
Yeah.
Well, their characters are at 100, our characters are at 100, so you're sitting there, and you're dishing out over $5-10 million to keep your roster for a year.
And the thing about it is this. I'm going to cut you off, though. If they were to put GM mode in the game, that would eliminate 100 overalls across the board, across all of our shows. Because you want to know the reason why none of us would be able to have the money, though, to be able to keep somebody locked down for a year, though.
With all 100.
I am being invited to go play a game with somebody, so I'm going to slide out of the podcast, but I'm going to watch it on my phone while I play.
I'll see you later.
I don't know about y'all.
Whoever gets host, can you shoot me an invite back? Just in case.
Yep. And I don't know about y'all, but there's no way in hell, though, that I'm going to be shelling out $5 million, though, just to keep one fucking call on my show. Unless, of course, it happened, or that's about it.
Unless it was one of your actual calls.
Yeah. Man, like one of my top girls. That's it.
And I mean, here's the thing. GM mode, I loved GM mode. I did.
Same here. I loved it.
And I think universe mode could be so much better, even if they didn't implement the money thing. Even if they just implemented like the rating system, and the more you could do, the better your ratings, the more you could do. Like, let's say all of the match types we have that we can do in universe mode. Let's say you could only do certain matches if you had a certain rating for the previous show. I think that would help because it would add more. It would add more diverse. I'm not going to say diversity, but it would add more of an incentive. It would add more of an incentive and it'd make you think more on how you run your show, because you have to rely on ratings to do everything. And I mean,
like
2K,
I remember back at GMOs, you had to fucking pay to cut a promo and shit.
Here's my thing. I think slowly on some things, 2K is taking one step in the right direction. But I think on a lot of things, especially career mode, they're taking 10 steps in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, again, until I'm gonna throw this out there, until we get more information, we can't actually discuss.
We're gonna be getting more information in the late August, early September.
I'm just Vito.
And we still have a lot of information to get to.
I'm just going by the history of 2K. I'm not going by 2K20. 2K20 could be completely different. Could add that aspect to universe mode.
But
I'm just going by the history.
But my point is to sit here and say, well, the career mode's going to be this way. We have no information on the career mode besides there's a male and a female.
It's a male and a female call.
Yeah.
Right. That's literally all we got.
Excuse me.
All right. All we know about universe mode is we know it's coming back.
Yeah.
But we don't know if they're going to.
We don't know how it's coming back.
What they're going to do.
Yeah.
So to sit here and to get into this long, well, this is what I think. You can't do that until you we get
at least
more
get more
information on
information.
it.
Yeah, I feel
Like
you.
you're making a judgment on what we already know that we don't.
Well, see,
Yeah.
here's my thing: is to validate the judgment we're giving. Look at 2K17, 2K18, 2K19.
Yeah, we're looking at. You're looking at
Yeah,
2K's
each
past
year went down.
track history.
That's
And
what I'm looking at.
always-
Track record.
It's copy and it's paste.
Just like that.
Literally,
Not even
especially for universe
You know what the funny
mode.
thing is? You know what the funny thing is though? There is one game. There is one game though that I play every year though, and then I know that some of you guys know which game I'm talking about though. That is exclusively made by Sony. That gets that adds small stuff into it, but those small things turn out to be big things. And that is the MLB The Show series. They add small stuff every year, and it just keeps getting better and better and better. But yet, and then here's the thing about it though. Yet, when you compare the MLB The Show games to these AAA companies, EA, Madden, copy and paste. 2K, wrestling and basketball, copy and paste. That's all you're seeing. I mean, hell,
Call of Duty for the most part, copy and paste. You know.
I mean,
It's
hell,
Yeah.
fucking Codemasters, the company that makes the F1 games, do small changes every year. Like for this F1 game though, we now actually have driver transfers at any time during the season though. Like somebody from Mercedes can jump ship to Ferrari though in the middle of the fucking season though. That type of thing. But why can't 2K? Why can't EA? Why can't they do these things? Because you want to know the reason why they're so relegated onto the fact that we just keep putting out a game every year, people are gonna buy it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's the thing. These
Go ahead,
AAA
I'm sorry,
companies, these AAA companies that come out with games every year, they improve on some things when it comes to every game they put out. They improve a lot. Even 2K19 improved on some things. Maybe not a lot, but it did compared to 2K18. Same with 2K18 to 2K17. But a lot of them copy and paste most of their shit. I mean, look at COD, for example. COD was copy and paste up until the Advanced Movement. Then Advanced Movement was copy and paste. And they went to World War II. Then they copy and pasted that and combined it with Advanced Movement and Black Ops 4. I mean, it's literally a copy and paste like thing. Same with Battlefield, wrestling games, NBA games.
But I do want to throw out there though, 2K has only been in the wrestling business for
about 6 years.
6 years?
6, 7 years. 6 years.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw this out there.
Hold on. 2K14 was the first one that came out, I think.
Okay, so 2K14. So we're gonna say about 6 years.
6 years, yeah.
Okay, now you look at THQ. All right, they were making the WWE games.
It's almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years before they went under. Okay.
The first time, yeah.
So, I'm gonna throw this out there. Some of the improvements have to come from time.
Damn. Basically trial and error. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, trial and error.
And I get that. You know.
So again,
and the thing about it is, here's my thing though. Seeing as we were talking about going back to 2K wrestling though, here's my thing. What Sin Cara was saying earlier about the universe mode, and then I honestly want to hear from you guys. What more can they do with it?
There's a lot more they could really do.
They could add the actual facts of, okay, for one,
I want fucking war games. I don't know about y'all, but I want fucking war
games. Yeah, they need to have that. They definitely need to add that.
I want fucking war games 2K20.
Like,
we're gonna backtrack to one more. Actually, no, we're not gonna backtrack there. We're gonna go down to the last bulletin now, and then we're gonna
SmackDown thing, but
we're on there right now because it's right next. But we're gonna go to the last bulletin now, and then we're gonna backtrack to the first thing we talked about because you weren't here for that, Twitchy. So I want to get you involved in that, but we're gonna get to the last part first, since we haven't gotten to that yet, and this is something that pretty much needs to be talked about, and it goes back to the whole women's evolution thing that I talked about, and that is the cover of 2K20. I knew from look, but here's what I gotta say. I knew since 2K19 came out and about middle of it, with how big of the women evolution they were going with, that a chick, I didn't know who, but I knew a chick was going to be on the cover of 2K20. Here's my problem. Here's my problem with that, though.
Did 2K19 come out like right after Evolution?
Not really. Well, I guess a little bit,
right before or right after?
But here's my problem. It's the same thing I have to go with the whole career thing, the mixed match career, is why couldn't they have just added a chick? Why couldn't they just added Becky Lynch? Why does Roman Reigns have to be involved?
Okay, one reason why that is because the leukemia thing. That's the reason why they put Roman Reigns in there.
But still,
they actually confirmed the reason why. Then that's like the reason why they put Roman Reigns on the cover with Becky Lynch was because of the whole leukemia thing.
But still, still does not work. Like, it would have made more sense, even though.
Because the thing about it was, Magna, was that they were originally planning to just put Becky Lynch solo on the cover.
Yeah.
If Roman Reigns still was not cleared, but because Roman Reigns managed to beat the cancer and come back, they wanted to put him on the cover. I don't know why they decided to do that. It
ruins the whole message still, though, is what I feel like, with the whole women's evolution that they're trying to do with this game. This game is based on the women's evolution.
And then here's my hunch about it, though. I'm guessing this was a power play by Vince.
Yeah, only thing I could guess. But like I was gonna say, it would have made more sense, even though that they're now a couple. But it would have made more sense to have Seth Rollins. Because of the whole, she calls herself the man, and Seth Rollins is the man. It would have made more sense.
But probably because Seth Rollins, though, was on the cover, though, 2 years ago. That's probably the reason.
Yeah, but I'm saying it would have made a lot more sense than Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I agree.
And I feel like it still goes back to the point where it bites the whole women's evolution in the ass. Because it would have made a much more powerful message. It would have made a way more powerful message to have just Becky Lynch or Sasha Banks or Charlotte Flair or Lita or Chyna, just anybody on the cover of 2K20 for the women's evolution message that they're trying to push. But like I said, for the whole career thing that they did.
This is also we're gonna bring a lot of the outsiders bitching and complaining. They're gonna be like, why is there a man on the cover though? Why couldn't it just be Becky Lynch?
Exactly.
Which I would have to agree with them though, because a lot of people leading up to this month, people were saying Becky Lynch is the hottest thing in WWE right now. She's gonna be on the cover of 2K20. And then they put her on the cover only to do this shit, and it's like
it bites them in the ass. I feel like because it's like I said.
Becky Lynch don't look fucking weak though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It brings up the whole point where I said with the career mode, with the mixed match career mode, where the first time they added a female career type thing in, they made it to where you pretty much back leg off of a male. This right here makes it look like Becky Lynch is backlegging off of Roman Reigns, and that Becky Lynch can only be on the cover, or a chick can only be on the cover if there's a male, because the male has to be the front bone. So I feel like it just kind of
basically what you're saying.
It just pretty much completely does not make sense on like the whole women's evolution, because it kind of we can have a female on the cover, sure, but there has to be a male there to back her up, because she cannot stand by herself. Is pretty much what it's saying. And that's what I have a big problem with.
And you know what the funny thing is, though, Magnum? Though, this was WWE's opportunity.
Yeah, it was.
To show that they cared about their female talent.
Mm-hmm. It really was.
And the thing about it is, though, and the thing about it is, Magnum, I gotta agree with you. Looking at it though, because when I saw the trailer, I was saying to myself, "Oh, Roman Reigns is in it because of the whole leukemia thing."
Yeah.
But now looking at it, it's like.
I mean,
it can't just be a woman. It can't just be a woman because the thing about it is this though. Just imagine, right? October 22nd, right? Just imagine though if it was just Becky Lynch on the cover.
Exactly.
October 22nd, right? You get the game. Pop the game in, download the game though. What's the first thing you're gonna see?
Becky
You're gonna
Lynch.
see
now you're gonna see Becky Lynch
side.
and Roman.
Yeah. You were just gonna see Becky Lynch on the right side of that screen with the WWE 2K20 logo right next to her.
And still, I mean,
that would have been fucking. That would have been fucking based.
It would have been a powerful message, a very powerful message. But now Roman Reigns steals the spotlight.
That all on the foot.
Roman Reigns steals the spotlight because he's Roman Reigns for one. He's Roman Reigns for one, and two, like you said, he's only on the cover because of his cancer. Boom. Roman Reigns stole the spotlight.
Well, I think it would have been better if, let's say, they had multiple editions like they always do, and maybe one was on one edition and one was on the other. That might make more sense because they used to do that anyway.
Have a flip cover, have a flip cover.
Yeah.
Right, like they did for, I think it was The Rock and Daniel Bryan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was either The Rock and Daniel Bryan or CM Punk and Daniel Bryan back when it was 2K13. I mean, not 2K13.
That was The Rock and Daniel Bryan.
13.
Yeah, it was The Rock and Daniel Bryan.
But have a flip cover. I mean, there's better ways they could have done it.
Exactly.
By all means.
They could have also.
I mean, they could have featured both superstars on the cover, but let's say have one on the front, one on the back.
Exactly.
That is still
give them a kind of a spotlight.
Like have Becky on the front, you have Becky on the front, Roman on the back. Blah blah blah. I wouldn't have an issue with that. It's the fact that they're putting both of them on the front on the same page, being that it's Roman Reigns. I mean, people call him Super Roman for a reason. Anything he's around or in or a part of, he takes the spotlight from the other person. It does
I don't
not matter
know, man. He was in Hobbs and Shaw, and I still think The Rock and Statham played a better role.
Okay, well, that's different, and I haven't seen that, so do not
spoil anything for me, Vito. I do gotta go see it, though.
I'm just throwing that out there, guys.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
I'm talking about WWE-wise, though, Vito. I'm talking about WWE-wise.
It don't matter. The Rock's was one of the most highest-paid WWE superstars around.
Dang, calm down, man.
But I'm saying nowadays, out of the main roster and the people who are on every week, anything Roman Reigns is a part of takes the spotlight.
Oh no, it don't. That whole fucking angle, Shane McMahon sucked dick.
And here's another thing though. Also, I would have been more happy if they would have. I would have been fine if they would have just put Roman Reigns on the cover too and save Becky for next year. Because I honestly feel like this year is the beginning of the Women's Evolution for 2K, but I feel like 21 will be the Women's Evolution for 2K. Because this year they got the 4 horsewomen, so they're kind of buying into a aspect of the evolution. Then they have the co-op male-female career, they're biting into the leg. Then they have Becky Lynch on the cover, first female on the cover, so they're biting into the Women's Evolution, what makes me fully believe that for 21, it's going to be fully based on the Women's Evolution. It'll be the first game where you fully have a singles career for the women's. They're going to have more of a Women's Evolution showcase. And hopefully, Roman Reigns doesn't go get cancer again and steal the spotlight for next year's cover, but I think next year might be the first ever fully female cover.
I'm not gonna say hopefully Roman Reigns don't get cancer again for that reason, because nobody deserves to have cancer.
Yeah, obviously.
But, I still think that the women deserve to have some spotlight. I mean, let's face it, in WWE they went through hell.
Yeah.
I mean, they went from being
fought
sex objects
to be where they're at now.
actually.
They fought
literally
for where they
went
are
from
now.
being sex. They literally went from sex objects to actually having respect in the wrestling world.
So
Exactly.
I mean, if you look back when I was young, because I remember when I was young. I mean, look at what they were doing with Lita and Edge. She was literally a sex object in that whole angle.
Oh yeah.
Sex tapes and all of that bullshit on live TV. I mean, that's how back in the day WWE were. Vince trying to play Hugh Hefner with the divas. You know, I mean,
controversy makes cash, buddy.
I realize that, and I understand that, and I agree with that. But I'm saying, though, still, the fact is we cannot take from the women. They fought to be where they are today, and they deserve to get some credit for it.
Oh, I'm not arguing that, but
that's
again,
my whole
it was
point.
a different. The thing is the times have changed. Okay, here's the thing. If this was 20 years ago, we'd still be getting bra and panties matches every other Raw. Okay?
Yeah.
And I was okay with that.
Well, yeah, but everyone was okay with that. But the message that it showed then and the message that it shows now is the whole thing. Like, nowadays, if they did that, it wouldn't be as okay because of the fact that the women have more respect and they fought and they earned the respect that they have.
That's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
That was the point I was trying to make, is the times have changed.
Exactly.
Now, to implement some of these things you guys have... all-female showcase, I'm happy for. I really am. I just wish it would have been more of... not just based around
New school, but old
more
school.
of the evolution of the women's
Especially
instead of
when it
just
comes,
four.
Especially in this...
Right.
Especially
okay,
when it comes
then,
back to the conversation we were having earlier about China. With everything going on, we could have very easily gotten a China showcase mode. I mean, Mickey James was brought up by, I think, Vito. You know, so many people. Trish Stratus, Michelle McCool, any of them. You know,
but that's the point I'm trying to make. You know what I mean? Is for some of these, they got to do something to test about how they're going to do it. So your all-women's My Career mode may happen next year.
I honestly feel like it is.
But you guys got to give it the chance to evolve, and that's the thing.
Here's my thing, and this is one of the biggest mistakes I think WWE has made, even on live television, is they act like Charlotte Flair is the one who started the women's evolution, and all that shit. But I mean, this has been going on for years. I mean, and they do. I mean, they make Charlotte out to be the one who started.
No, they make Sasha, Bayley, Charlotte, and Becky the face of this women's evolution.
They really do.
But they don't remember the first time female, and this is what pissed me off when it all started. And fucking Charlotte and Sasha got to be in the main event at a Raw segment. Trish and Lita did it 10 years before them.
Exactly.
But that got overlooked.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Even when Bayley, Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha first got on the main roster, what was the words out of Stephanie McMahon's mouth is, we're starting a women's evolution here on Raw tonight, and it all begins with, and they were announced.
Yeah, but here's my thing. I mean, now, granted, when it comes to some females from the past, like Kelly and all that, I don't really count them. But when it comes to, like, Lita, you know, Lita was probably, other than that shit with Edge, the least sexualized wrestler of that era. She always wore khakis and a tank top. I mean, she was the least sexualized wrestler of that era. Everyone else wore...
Oh, you mean besides her thong poking out of her fucking pants?
And the shirt she wore that, like, in the middle was all cut out, and, like, really the only thing that was hoarded on was her breast.
Okay, look, I understand that, but my point
Right,
is
like
still,
no. Your argument is invalid with 2 points right there.
Like you forgetting all this?
Hold on.
well, my point being.
Yeah, no, I'm listening. I'm stopping. No, I'm just listening. I'm just listening to you
My
guys.
point is.
I'm just listening.
Is when it comes down to it, they didn't do as much when it came to the perversion shit with Vince and all that shit with her, as they did with a lot of the others. I mean, yes, the whole thong and chair clothes and all of that shit.
And they made her out to be a hoe!
They really did.
They made her out to be a hoe! On 4 or 5 different occasions!
Obviously, look, I was a kid when all this shit was going on, okay? Damn. I'm just going by what I remember. And I have drinking a little, so. But
they made her out to be a hoe!
Regardless, either way, her clothing still showed less skin than her than
the
rest of them.
It showed less, but they still made her.
Matt, was crushing on Jeff, and then that started the first feud between Matt and Jeff, and then she jumped ship, started fucking Edge, and no, she started fucking Kane, and then it came out she was fucking Edge.
You gotta remember the Siniski too.
Yeah, and it wasn't Jane Snitsky's fault, she was Kane's baby!
It wasn't my fault.
Well, I mean,
dang, okay. Are you chill, bro? I think you may need to like go drink some coffee or something, bro.
Regardless, my fact is still as it remains.
Man, I know it's 2 in the morning, but damn, bro.
Maybe my point is invalid for those reasons, and I will give you that. I mean, because they didn't make
Young Samuel, you have to fight for your wording. You're not really saying anything.
But every time I'm about to open my mouth to say something, someone else cuts in right ahead of me. I'm like,
just cut in front of somebody.
Shut up, then.
I was proven wrong because they did make her out to be the whore of Babylon. But
thank you. That was my only argument.
But I mean, when it came down to her attire, though, I mean, it wasn't as slutty as hers. Now, her character was a bit sluttier.
I mean,
now.
It was. I want to say the only reason why it wasn't as slutty is because of her style. It was slutty for her style.
For her style, yes, but like overall, when it came down
because she had a different style than everybody, though, is why it wasn't as bad. Because like that was slutty for her style. When you think of like Trish Stratus, Tori Wilson, and all of them, they had that normal chick style where pretty much anything they put on could be slutty and show skin, to where Lita's style was more of that badass rocker tomboy. So she didn't wear the short shorts and the bras and all. She was more of the camo pants, rocker, thong showing.
Vito has proven his point. She was more of a military slut than a slut. Okay.
Okay, thank you. That's all I needed. Okay, I'll calm down.
But the fact is, overall, Vince did less with her. And Vince, oh my God, I don't know why, but back in the day, they used to make him out to be the next Hugh Hefner or some shit. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, it was. It was like, dude, you're married, and then you're like over here flirting with all the divas and shit. Like, dude, you're not Hugh Hefner. You don't own Playboy. You own a wrestling company.
He doesn't own Playboy, but he owns WWE. I think that's pretty damn close.
Well,
because you think about it. Technically, you might be able to say that Vince did own Playboy. Because think about how many WWE women superstars are in Playboy. And they always did a big cover reveal in WWE.
Okay, yes, but that also goes to the point. Look at how many movie stars are in Playboy. I mean, that really doesn't say that. That does not mean that Vince owns Playboy. That just means
there was a partnership going on.
No, that literally means he hired some fine ass bitches that Hugh Hefner wanted on his magazine. That is all that means with Vince.
But think about it. Vince they were his talent, though. Think about it.
Vince did not get paid for the photo shoot.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
He got paid for showing the photo and advertising Playboy.
How you know he didn't get paid for the photo shoot? How you know he didn't get a cut? You got to think about it. They're under contract with WWE, And for stuff like that to go
Okay,
happen,
but
they had to
that's
go
for-
through Vince.
Okay, well, maybe you have maybe you and Vince did have a little romance going on. Regardless, whatever. That's besides the point. The point is when it comes down to Hollywood, Hollywood has contracts too. I mean,
But they're not really under like one director.
They're not under. Oh, I forgot.
In a way.
I forgot. When it comes to Vince's contracts, he has to be God.
Yeah, you can think about it. Anybody that's under Vince's
I
contracts, he owns them while they're under his contract. Like, think of like
He owns
any
their
wrestler.
body and apparently their name. That's why
Exactly.
Cody Rhodes can't even use his actual last name.
Yeah, without getting sued every time he uses it.
Cody Rhodes, that isn't his. Never mind.
See, Rhodes
I'm gonna
is.
throw this out. Rhodes is not his actual last name though. It's Reynolds.
Well, regardless. No, here's my thing though. Dustin or Goldust can use Rhodes in his name, but Cody can't. And that's what I find really fucked up.
That's because he was never billed in WWE as Dustin Rhodes. He was Dustin Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
Or Dustin. He never took.
Regardless, Vince, when it came to Cody, he trademarked Rhodes.
Yeah.
That was the main thing he trademarked.
He didn't trademark the name. He
did.
trademarked the gimmick.
No, the name, because Cody even came up in himself, if I'm not mistaken, bitching about how he can't use Rhodes, and Rhodes is his last name.
Yeah, actually, now if you've noticed, though, even on AEW, they've been slipping and used Cody Rhodes.
Well, yeah, they've been slipping because Cody just doesn't give a fuck. Like, it's Cody. He just doesn't care. He doesn't do what he wants.
I mean, let's face it.
He's
Now that
proven it.
Cody's like president or GM or something of AEW, something like that.
The whole Bullet Club is president of AEW. They don't own it, but the whole Bullet Club is president
He's
of.
making money, so if WWE decides to sue him, here you go, shut the fuck up. I'm gonna use my goddamn name.
Well, so here's the thing is.
Get the fuck out of my company.
Exactly. Well, see, here's the thing
Get
though.
the fuck out of my company. This is my company, bitch. Here's your money. Shut
Right?
the fuck up.
See,
I'm
here's the
using my
thing,
goddamn
though.
name.
It's my company. I'll run this bitch.
Here's the thing though with
Get the fuck out of my company. I ain't worth
AEW.
it.
Here's the thing with AEW and WWE is if Cody was in New Japan or TNA and he uses that name and got sued, he wouldn't have the same resources as he does in AEW, because now AEW and WWE is on the same playing field. They have this they both have powerful lawyers and powerful resources, to where like TNA and New Japan, they didn't really have the lawyers and resources, so they had to be more sketchy when they did things. Where AEW, they have the resources, so they can do stuff like that and not have to worry, because they just send the lawyers back. You know?
Basically, AEW is basically if Cody drops his last name, if this keeps saying to Vince, hey, you want to sue me? Yeah, good luck trying to get through this.
Exactly. That's like Kyle
I've got the
Young
power to
in
fight back,
reference.
bitch.
That's like Kyle Young. You going by Kyle Young in real life for years, and then going to WWE and him using Kyle Young, but they bought like the Kyle Young name or whatever, and then him leaving, and then him trying to use his name that's legally his name, and anytime he signs a document, WWE's like, oh nope, sorry, you got to change that.
A lawsuit.
I know exactly what I'd do if I did that.
Lawsuit.
You know?
I mean, what do you think?
Let's face it. When it comes down to it, Vince is just as money hungry as any of them motherfuckers.
Can you let Samurai talk? He was trying to say something.
Oh,
The one thing I would do, I just find different last name to use as the ring name or something, just to try to avoid that.
Yeah. That's why, like
okay.
I would use my name here regardless.
Hey. Can I have an example real quick?
Go ahead.
The idea, because one of the people I've met through this community was Aaron the Destroyer. Last name is Brooks. I probably use that same thing on last name like that. I don't know. Just something I could use to kind of deflect it. So it's like, let's say for example I went to WWE as Kyle Brooks. I left. They have that name. Oh, guess what? I got Kyle Young, or vice versa.
Exactly.
If it was me, I would use my name regardless, because I don't give a fuck.
Sin Cara's like forced to cry. I've been silent this entire time as I let everyone else kind of bicker back and forth. Because I'm not the type of guy to try to jump on people. That's me.
I'm not, man. I would use it there regardless. I just don't give a fuck.
Well, I mean, it's just, I guess my biggest issue is, and this is going back on like topic of what the podcast was supposed to be on initially, as well as the whole name thing. That's like, if I'm not mistaken, Becky's last name actually is Lynch. So let's just say she was the pop ship. We'll just say I'm out because they did something to screw her over, like they tend to do everybody. You know, that's.
Oscar, Karzane.
WWE.
Get out your throat,
like,
Sam. We know you got something in your throat. Calm down. We hear you. It's okay.
WWE seems to be all. WWE seems. I don't know how to say this without sounding like fucked up.
Say it.
Man, when I look at WWE, I look at the South pre-Civil War days when it comes to people's names. They think they owe people's real names or fake names or whatever.
Well,
somebody goes in and uses. I mean, and that's how the South was pre-Civil War days. Let's face facts. They owned people. They did not own objects. They owned. Well, I guess in their eyes they owned objects, but they were people.
It goes back to the whole Vince thing, though. Like we're talking about is when you sign a contract under Vince, Vince's contract is to where he literally owns you. And that is why they're not allowed to use the name, because when you sign his contract, in the contract, you're signing your name to Vince.
Yes, and I get that, and I understand that.
And that is why...
If I go up to Vince, I'm going to tell him he can kiss my ass. I'm going to use my name.
Well, see, that's why...
If he don't want to hire me, he don't want to hire me.
Mm-hmm. That's why if you look at it, though, the only people who are still using their names are people who came up with their names themselves, or that was using those names outside of WWE and then went into WWE, like Sting. Sting owns Sting. He used it so many years out of WWE, and then when he went into WWE, if he would have went back out, he was still able to use Sting because he owns it, and WWE didn't create it, you know?
Mm-hmm. And there are other wrestlers, though, that are actually able to use their names for lever phase, like Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles.
Yeah, because that was the names outside, and that was their thing that they made. So Vince can't really. But like Dean Ambrose's influence, he was John Moxley out, and then they brought him in as Dean. So that's why he can't use Dean Ambrose outside, and he has to use John Moxley again because WWE created Dean, and Dean created John.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right, and it'd be like if Seth Rollins were to leave. He's not going to be able to run around.
He'll be Tyler Black again.
Right, which I actually think that Roman Reigns, I don't remember his name. Probably by his family name.
Yes.
To be honest, and that's why the Usos changed their names when they went in. If they went somewhere else, they were going to be the new Samoan SWAT.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be called that because that's trademarked by WWE. But
it's Samoan SWAT.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, the Usos, they would probably go by Jimmy and Jay Fatu.
Most likely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just, you know, it. I mean, I don't know what Roman Reigns' last name is. I believe it may be a no.
I believe it's the same.
It's not Fatu. It's the other. It's like a None or something like that.
Yeah.
It's the same as Umaga and The Rock.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're all under the same bloodline. Like, the Usos is under the same bloodline. It's just, like, the father and the grandfather are just different than, like, how, what's his name? Can't even think of the Uso. Rikishi, you know, is the Usos' father, but Rikishi is, like, Roman Reigns is, like...
Uncle,
and then, and just all that.
That whole Samoan history is weird.
Yeah, it's just a big thing. Well, see, here's the funny thing. In an interview that the Usos did, I want to say I don't like they said how like I want to say they said Roman Reigns is technically their uncle, not their cousin.
Yeah.
Well, I don't mean to cut you off, Psych, but man, it's like 3 in the morning, man. I need to try to get some sleep because I gotta be to work tomorrow.
That's all right. Yeah,
I'm tired, man.
Yeah, we'll see you later. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Yeah, because I'm not sure how much longer you guys are gonna go, but
honestly, probably not much longer because the whole discussion of the podcast is pretty much done. Now we're just talking.
Yeah, but
pretty much.
But I do appreciate you guys allowing me to come in here and speak my part on the whole.
Yeah, no problem. I felt like you were a very important part.
Too, so.
I felt like you were a very important part, especially with your foundation that you run with the Women All Wrestling Company, with them bringing women aspects into it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but you're also a big figurehead in our community anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So within the community, you had to be a part.
Yeah,
right.
Well, hopefully we can do another podcast though, talking about this once we find out more information in regards to.
That's why this is. That's why this is podcast 1 of 2K.
Especially the roster,
20.
Especially the roster, though.
Yeah.
I already know, man. Because I already know once that roster drop, man, we all gonna get together again and we gonna rip the fuck out of that. So,
every time they give an update on the game, there's gonna be a podcast.
Oh, true. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna hit the bed, man. I will talk
you have a nice
guys
one.
later. Also, Magnum, I'll send you the link to my Twitch page and stuff though, because I left YouTube and now I'm on Twitch. So
Okay.
I'll send you that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been thinking about doing the same thing. Yeah. I've been thinking about doing the same fucking thing.
Yeah. Well,
I
tell you this much though. I tell you this much though. If anybody moves over to Twitch. I got people though. I got people though who will just follow you as soon as I name drop you. So
okay,
I got you. If you,
I'm already on Twitch. I just don't stream as much.
Yeah, I already have a Twitch. I just don't use it.
I do too.
Oh, true.
I just don't use it as
well,
much.
Anyway, guys, I'm gonna hit the bed, man. It's like 3 in the morning, man.
All right.
We'll see you later.
Yeah, I'm about to head to bed too, because it's like 1 in the morning here, and y'all know I got grandparents I take care of, so. I'm gonna head to bed. Psych, I guess we can do that tomorrow.
Yeah, this lasted a lot longer than I expected, but it was a good last longer.
Well, I mean, it didn't help. It didn't help. We didn't have. It didn't help that we had the moron who was cutting your internet off.
Yeah, that kind of ruined part number 1.
What happened? Wait, what?
There was a guy who came in here and kind of
who was pissed at Swag and was trying to boost Swag offline, but instead he was
fucked with my shit.
Offline.
Wow, so he DDoSed.
He kicked. I think he kicked both Psych and Vito offline.
Yeah.
I don't know so much about Vito, but I know he kicked Psych
off.
And his name was XNKX the Dark Wolf.
Oh, I know him.
Yeah, he came in and ruined
known as
a good portion of this.
Deathlock.
Yeah, he came in and ruined a good portion of the first half of it, and that's why this is a 2-part about podcast, because he kicked me off of my internet, which cut the stream and all that.
So if I see that fucker show up though to any stream that I'm a mod of, I'm just gonna ban his ass. Thank you for telling me that, by the way.
No problem.
Anyway, guys, I'm gonna hit the bed.
I'm about to head to bed. We can do that tomorrow, Psych.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Exhausted.
Yeah, I'm about to go.
And I'm
gonna pretty much see if there's anything else that we're all gonna talk about, and if not, pretty much start. I guess.
I mean, I'm gonna stay till the end of the podcast. I'm just letting you know. After this podcast is over, your boy going his ass to bed.
Well, I'm getting hungry anyways.
Same.
I'm starting to get hungry, so I'm ready to get up and start making some food.
I didn't eat dinner last night. I
gotta go to work tomorrow, so
I gotta go to work too, but I don't have to go to work till 3.
Yeah, I gotta work at 5 tomorrow.
I don't work.
I was about to say, Psych, because I'm pretty sure you're in the same time zone I'm in. You might not be, but
no, I'm in a different. Cause it's 3 a.m. where I'm at, and you said it's only like 2 a.m. where you are.
Oh,
it's 3 for me right now.
Exactly 2 a.m. where I'm at.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, it's 1 a.m. where I'm at, but No, actually it's 2. Never mind. My
All right, y'all. I'm going to bed. I'll see you guys.
I'm drunk. I apologize. I am slightly drunk.
Take your drunk ass to bed. Stop being drunk.
So, is there any other important information or important facts or things that we held on talking about that we've been wanting to talk about? It just, we kept getting sidetracked that we should talk about before we start rounding this up.
Regarding 2K20 itself?
Not that I can think of.
Well, I guess, pretty much that's pretty much the podcast. We talked about everything that was necessary and all. We got the important bulletins. Well, actually, I guess there's one point. It's not really an important bulletin, though. That's why I didn't highlight it. But the Roman Reigns tower, which they're making a big deal about.
There was something we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about the WWE Originals thing either.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that either.
Right. I've got to say something about this. I legitimately have a problem with the towers. I'm sorry, but not every fighting game or something like every fighting game or something.
It's not Mortal Kombat.
Has to try to copy Mortal Kombat.
It's not. Yeah, I get what you're talking about.
Injustice.
Not all of. I mean, Injustice has a reason. It's made by the same developers, same people.
It's the same style game. It's the same style fighting game too.
But not only that, but it's made by the same people, so the tower system works. But I mean, WWE adding towers to me was the stupidest thing on the planet, because you're not Mortal Kombat, and I'm sorry, wrestling does not work with towers. It doesn't. I mean,
in my opinion, it kind of does.
It does, but it doesn't.
Samurai, go ahead and speak.
Well, see, I kind of, hopefully I'm not cutting anyone off, but I kind of, agree, the towers should have been something different, because the towers are just pretty much another version of Showcase, the way I look at it. Because the towers have you have a certain amount of objectives in the towers, and you have to beat a certain amount of people with the objectives, and then you gotta beat the boss of it, which every Showcase is pretty much the same way. To where they could have just made additional showcases instead of,
Yeah, and that's my thing. I think they could have done something so much better with towers. I don't think, for one, they should be called towers, because
they could have made their own thing. They could have made their own thing.
I feel like literally it's a copy and paste of Mortal Kombat with the 2K mechanics, and I mean, I guess I don't have an issue with that. It was something new they added to the game in 2K19, and at least they were trying to add something new that we hadn't had every year. But I think my entire time having 2K19 since its release, I have touched the towers maybe once, and that was because I was trying to win $1 million.
Yeah, that's the only tower I really ever touched on this one.
I mean, and I'm just being honest.
But see, that $1 million challenge though was so rigged.
Yeah, I agree. But regardless, I mean, that is literally the only reason why I touched any towers.
To be honest with you,
every so often.
I play with them every so often as well. And it usually got some fun things, but there's one that is absolutely annoying. Just letting you know this right now.
Plus, here's my thing.
The towers are repetitive. Sorry.
Sky, let him talk. Let Kyle speak.
Okay, the last things I'm talking about, like, some of them are absolutely annoying. It's like in Jericho's list, there's one where you have to fight Christian in like a ladder match.
Yeah.
The issue is that they invert the freaking controls on you at the last, and you just know about it only at the last second. You're like, wait, what the fuck? I thought it was normal. So it's like I'll be hitting forward, but I'm going backwards, or vice versa.
Again, I just think when it comes down to it, I mean, yeah, in games, even like Mortal Kombat, the towers are repetitive. But here's my thing. At least in the towers in Mortal Kombat, you get some sort of actual reward besides just some currency. You either get, especially in Mortal Kombat 11, which I had for a while before I had to sell it, you got some kind of gear or consumable, or better yet, Injustice 2. Man, Injustice 2, those towers gave you whole sets of gear for your characters. You could just farm, get shit like that. And I mean, with WWE, what do you get? You literally get VC. I can earn VC, you can earn VC doing universe mode, online matches, showcase mode, road to glory.
I'm sitting on 205, 451 right now.
Yeah.
You know,
Offline grinding.
and that's my thing. That's my thing. I mean, the towers in 2K, it's not that they weren't a good addition, but you literally have no incentive to do them. If you got,
Exactly.
like, if that was the only way you could get certain moves or something, it would be one thing. Like, you complete this tower, you get this move.
Well, see, they do have towers like that in Korea. Like, when there's, like, a big pay-per-view coming up, like, the next one, I guess, would be SummerSlam. They usually, like, in career mode, have it to where, like, if you complete that tower, you will get, like, a certain outfit based on that pay-per-view or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, my thing is it's just, I feel like there's very little incentive to the towers.
Yeah, it's very pointless. They could have done their own thing.
Since 2K, since 2K20 is bringing towers back, I'm not going to say they won't. I'm hoping that they will add a little bit more incentive. I mean, let's face it, the only reason why I played the $1 million tower was because $1 million is a damn good incentive.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face facts. It's a damn good incentive. But other than that, I did not touch any tower. I had no reason to. I mean, you didn't really get... I mean, you may have gotten an outfit or something, but I mean, like, to me that wasn't incentive, man. Especially when you have to grind for movesets and entrances and shit. I mean, I've been happy to get moves every once in a while, but literally every tower I've ever looked at on that fucking game gave me either an outfit or VC.
Exactly. Like, what was the real point of it?
And I'm sitting here like, man, you're having us grind for 200, 300, 400 plus hours to 100% our move list, because that's what it would take.
Yeah.
Because of the dupes and everything. It would take 200 to 300 hours. Easily. To get our moveset. And, I mean, the towers could have alleviated some of that pain a little bit, because, I mean, like, even if it was a tower every once in a while, you got a move that you didn't have, or an entrance you didn't have. That would be one thing. Now, yes, granted, the towers did make it easier to get some of the outfits you didn't have out of the crates. But, I mean, who the fuck cares about outfits? Normally, I don't ever use the outfits I get out of that shit. I only get shit that don't have any wrestler's information on it.
It's usually what I try to use, too.
Basic, generic shit.
It's usually what I try to use, too.
The same. So even in my entrances, normally, I don't use anything that says anything about another wrestler. I use just the most, universal designs I can.
Well, yeah, I do pretty much the same thing, because I feel like if you hit those, you're not really you. You're kind of like you're pretty much trying to say you're somebody else, so like it kind of throws me off. So I try to use the most generic also.
That's my issue with towers. Now I'm hoping, like I said, because like Vito said earlier, we don't have much information on what 2K20 is going to implement. I'm hoping that they'll add some sort of more incentive to the towers, like movesets, gear, entrance music, entrance themes, entrance templates, whatever. I'm hoping they'll add more shit like that, like where you don't have to just grind supply drops, that you're almost guaranteed to get at least 1 or 2 dupes out of each one, unless you're just starting the game. I mean, it's like, going back to the Call of Duty thing, I played Black Ops 4 for so long, I'm guaranteed to get a duplicate in every crate, in every set of crates I open. And when you play 2K, let's say 19, for example, which also has a loot system, same thing. Once you open up enough of them, you're almost guaranteed a duplicate. And duplicates are fucking useless.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's my issue with the whole tower thing. I mean, the towers I feel like could be useful to kind of alleviate some of that pain. Because, like, if you're trying to grind for something in the crates, like, let's say, I tend to use Ascension theme, the Ascension background for the Titantron, because it ain't got nothing on it. It's just a bunch of static and symbols and shit. I tend to use it because it's universal, to be used for anyone. If I'm grinding for that, maybe a tower for tag teams comes up, and the Ascension is the final tag team, and I want that Titantron entrance shit. If they were to put that on at the end of that tower, I'd be more inclined to play that tower, because I actually would want that.
Yeah.
That's my thing, is towers to me, you don't get enough incentive. And that's where I'm leaving.
Yeah, I feel you on that one.
That there's just not enough incentive for the time and effort it takes to go through one of them motherfuckers.
Exactly.
Some of those towers are 20 fucking matches. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit here for 20 matches for 3,000 VC when I could play 4 or 5 matches in career mode.
And get twice double, you know.
You know, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and do it.
You could play, I think, an online match. I think you could play like an online match, and if you win it, you get like 10,000 VC or whatever, you know.
10,000, something like that.
It'll take you not even half the time.
Yeah, and that's my thing, and that's my issue with towers. I mean, do I think if they did it right, it would be a good thing? Yes, but my thing is I feel like they were trying to copy Mortal Kombat, but they did not do it in the best way possible to go through WWE.
At least I can say
towers work.
At least they didn't do it full-on Mortal Kombat style fighting through the towers.
Yeah.
At least they didn't do that. At least they almost made it their own thing, but they could have completely made a different mode their own thing.
With my issue with the WWE 2K towers is simply, it's not that they copied and pasted it from Mortal Kombat. They got the inspiration from Mortal Kombat, but it is that they executed it way wrong for the game that it's in. VC, there are so many other ways to make VC. If you're literally going through a tower to make VC, you're a fucking moron. Because you can make the same amount of VC faster. And that's my issue with it. That's my issue with the towers. Now, when it comes to gear or, you know, like I said, if they were to add movesets or something like that, especially like some things, they're like in Mortal Kombat, for example, there are some outfits or movesets you can't get out of whatever supply drop system that they have, because I know they have one. It's just been, I'm just too drunk to remember what it is. You know, there are certain things you can only get out of towers. If WWE was to implement something like that where you could only get certain outfits, certain moves, certain shit like that out of certain towers, I'd be more inclined to play it. But I'm sorry, if I just want to play a bunch of matches to earn VC, I'll play online matches because they're more of a fucking challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I'm playing against someone who may have a higher skill level than me, or I'll play Road to Glory. You know. That's my issue.
I'm gonna hop off for now because I need to get some sleep.
You have a nice one. Sound what?
Later.
Same here.
Later.
I'll talk to you all tomorrow.
Alright, talk later. But so pretty much I think that's all that we have left to talk about. Right, because it's such me and you now, Vito. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I kind of think so.
So pretty much, ladies and gentlemen, that will pretty much conclude our very first podcast on WWE 2K20 with the information that we have been given so far. Like I said, where's that comment? Hold on. But like I said, as more information on the game comes out, we will, of course, do another podcast. Depending on how much information gets released next, it will decide if we do a podcast then or if we wait until this two announcements to come on. Because if all the announcements come out to be as this much information as as this one, if all of them come out this much information, it could turn out to be a good game and very informational and all that. So we will definitely do podcasts and updates on our opinions of the game. Right now, we shit-talked a lot of the modes and a lot of the aspects of the game, but I personally think this can be a really good game with what they're adding in and the aspect that they are giving us. Will definitely be a game changer for Universe mode and stuff like that with the mixed match challenge stuff by itself. And all that, but pretty much, as of right now, with the information that we're giving, from everybody in the community that's been a part of this podcast and all that, do not expect me to get the collector's edition. It's a big waste of money, it seems. Yes, it would be cool to have Rey Mysterio's or Kurt Angle's or Edge's autographed, but it's not enough to spend $130 on the game, I feel like. So, as of right now, my planning, and then I'm sure everybody else planning, is we're not going to get the regular edition of 2K, no. I'm gonna get the deluxe edition. I'm sure Vito's gonna get the deluxe. I'm sure Twishy's gonna get the deluxe. I'm sure Samurai's gonna get the deluxe and all that. So, pretty much, yeah, that concludes it. Does you want to drop any information that's not really about the podcast, but about your plans or anything?
Nope, I think I'm gonna still make them wait.
Alright. Are you still here, Swag?
Yep.
Is there anything you want to say?
Not really.
Not really? Alright. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this was another episode of Backstage with Psych. Brought to you by, of course, Magnum Optimus Entertainment and the host himself, aka me, Little Psych, and, of course, all the amazing people that joined in this commentary booth and joined us in this podcast, making this podcast as amazing as it was. We had, the co-host of IPCW, which it was very important for him to be here because of the fact that he is the co-host, and this game is pretty much the future of IPCW and all that. We'll see you later, Sin Cara. We had him here, and he got to kind of speak on some of his feelings on it, so that was very important. But we also had John Vito, a.k.a. Cole Pierce, who is another big inspiration with IPCW, and pretty much he doesn't have the co-host title, but he's pretty much a big host on IPCW and his own show, so has very big aspect. And also shout out to everybody else who was here, like Young Samurai, Nightmare, Twitchy. There's a lot of people here. I'm trying not to forget anybody, but I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. That might be actually it. Good night, Skylon. So yeah, I appreciate everybody who joined in and made this podcast what it is. Special shout out to you guys.
Not a problem.
Like I said, expect to see us all back with another Backstage with Psych when more information comes out. I do plan on Skylon, aka Graveyard, aka Joseph Shade, the World Heavyweight Champion of IPCW at the moment. He was here too. Like I said, the next podcast might not be the update on 2K20, but that'll be the next 2K20 podcast, of course. But I'm thinking about trying to make this a weekly podcast on just anything. A new game that's coming out. We could, wrestling stuff, like how we think direction of especially when AEW becomes televised and it's more of a weekly thing. We can, I plan on doing a WWE versus AEW type of podcast, and just all of the above and everything like that. Also, like I said, games that's coming out, just anything. I do plan on doing I want to do at least once a week type of podcast. Of course, it'll be different subjects, like this subject was 2K20 and all that. So hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, this was Backstage with Psych, with, of course, Psych. But for now, as always, it's time to say peace out. But don't worry, it might be time to say peace out for now, but we always come back with more. It might be a little while, but we always come back. And when we do, you guys always entertain, and we do our best to entertain you guys. But for now, time to say peace.